go. See, we're actually starting this time.
Oh my god. Everyone tell the same jokes you just told.
Deltarune. Oh, no, wait.
Alex, stop eating food on the podcast. Oh, wait.
There it is. We covered them. We did.
Welcome to the Food ASMR podcast.
Okay, we have sound, boys. Boys, we
yeah.
have sound. I can't
got-
confirm.
Thanks. Chad, I really appreciate that your technical support on all streams. It's helpful. I need you to just watch all of the Discord and Signal and tell me if there's any problems ever. That'd be great.
Yeah, the problem is you never sent me like links to pull
out. I have it done. I just need to send you the packaged file.
It's not that you didn't send me links. You sent me like timestamps, but you definitely didn't send me the package.
I gotta send you the package. The file.
Yeah, give him the package.
I want Aaron's package.
Okay, nobody's getting... Never mind. Hey, everybody, welcome to The Forecast, episode 137. The Forecast is a bi-weekly podcast produced, streamed, and sometimes released on Thursdays. We are a community of people who love exploring and discussing all kinds of things from video games and board games to film and TV to our everyday life experiences. If you'd like to know more about what we do, you can follow us at facebook.com/TheHorizonFB, or you can come hang out in our Discord channel, or you can check out our website at withhorizon.com. We have a ton of original content for you to browse through, one of which is our recent RPG cast, the Discord and Signal. Check that out. I think the most recent episode just went live like 20 minutes ago. Wow. Additionally, nice. Whatever podcasting or whatever we are talking about is pushed out to whatever podcasting app you are using. I am Aaron, joined by a couple additional peeps. Chad?
What'd it do?
What'd it do? Alex?
What'd it do?
Frankie?
Wow. What does it do?
Owen?
Hello, guys, gals, non-binary pals.
Owen, you broke it!
Ruined it. Kick him off. He's off the cast.
What do my non-binary pals do?
Yeah, there we go.
That's fair.
That's good. Jake?
Oh, shit. What does it do?
Oh, Caleb.
That me. It do.
Nailed it. We did
He
it.
could not do the "that's me" thing, though.
Mhm.
You had to still keep it.
Of course. We'll add a little comma in there. And
It's nice to have your own thing that you say. That way people get your, get you linked
Get what
up.
you're about.
Yeah, no, I
mean,
understand what Caleb's saying.
I don't think
Owen's
anybody
got it
knows
on
who
lock.
I am on this podcast. I don't really have like a...
Actually, I've been
You need
meaning
to-
to ask, who the hell are you?
Yeah, I know.
He
I
is our
I'm in the
leader.
background. In the background, trying to just do transitions, which I suck at, but hey, it's my job, guys. That's what I'm here
it's
for.
fine. You're doing a great job.
Oh, and let's start this week with eating money, shall we?
Yeah.
Are you going to do this live on Twitch?
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so this is part news, part live reaction here. As some of you may know, there is some of this wonderful Pokemon Oreos.
Oh yeah.
It's
Why?
Oreos. There's Pokemon stamped on them. Some of the Pokemon are more rare than others.
Gosh.
A couple of weeks ago, these things were going crazy. Like, I could sell one of these for like $120.
No way.
Yeah, and if you got
Why?
a mythical Mew, you could sell it for $1,000. And
Get
guess
the
what,
fuck out.
motherfuckers? Guess what I opened in my first box?
No way. No
Look
way.
at this. I'm gonna try
Oh,
to.
yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry,
not gonna
what
go
Allison found in their first box.
Look at this on the podcast.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you gotta.
trying to.
Yeah,
you gotta see
get it
it.
right up.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and now put your hand behind it. Put your hand behind it. Your other hand.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh,
That's
beautiful.
professional.
Golf claps.
So
golf claps.
Yeah.
this is the rarest. Is the Mew? It used to go for like $1,000 on eBay last week, and now it's going for $3. So this is me eating $3.
Womp, womp.
Man, imagine if you'd have
Did
just
people-
eaten that last week. Holy crap.
Did people
Watch
not
the price go
understand
back
how
up.
rare it was? They just assumed it was rare, and then they were charging
He's
$1,000 for
busy
it.
eating $3, Alex. Give the man a break.
I'm busy eating $3. This is great
then-
ASMR too.
Yeah. And then like people kept on buying them, and they're like, "Oh wait, there's actually a lot of these."
Yeah, people thought it was rare, and like there wouldn't be a lot of them, and I think a lot of that had to do with the Nabisco worker strike that was happening at the time.
Ah.
So there wasn't a lot of product going out, and also a lot of people were like, "Hey, don't fucking buy the product because we're trying to support the workers here from Nabisco." Which is why I didn't buy any last week. I bought some this week after the strike was over. But I mean, like, it was sold out at my grocery store. Like, I could tell. I walked in, you could see all the displays where they put it all out, and literally there were 3 packs left, and I bought the last 3 packs. And so I was like, these are mine.
You're ridiculous.
Yeah.
You are
You
ridiculous.
buy Oreos by like multiple packs.
It was buy two get one free, so I was like, yeah.
Dude,
I guess
I got a pack of Oreos in like my cupboard that's been there for like 6 months. I
Wow.
can't get rid of them.
No, there's no way a pack of Oreos would last in this house.
Okay,
for
so
like 6
theoretically,
months.
if somebody took this thing that was worth $1,000 and it just stayed at that level,
Yeah.
how in the world would they keep it from just crumbling into pieces or turning into mold? Or I guess
Yeah, I
Oreos
don't
just
know.
last forever.
I mean,
I don't
Oreo's
know.
probably.
Well, I got
Vac-
these-
vacuum
this
seal.
nice
Ooh.
little plastic bag that I was keeping mine in for this segment, and I
I
assumed
bet
that
you could
would
leave
do
an
that.
Oreo on a counter for
No, I
like
think-
years and it'd look
I
the same.
think- They get that guy who put the hot dog in resin.
Yeah,
Get the
Oh,
button
yeah.
the resin guy.
Put the
Yeah.
Oreo in
Mhm.
resin. There you go.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Hey, let's move on to what you've been playing lately. And Alex, we're going to start with you this week. And I really hope the one thing you have listed in your list here is the only thing you're going to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, I want to talk about Deathloop, but we're gonna
You
have
have
a larger
one
segment on
game?
that later.
Hold on. I think we need to pause.
I pretty much just only played Deathloop, and then I happened to play this yesterday, so now it's on my list.
Wow.
I think we all need to pause for effect because this is like the
Yeah.
first time in the history of this podcast that you haven't had, I don't know, less than 3 games, 4 games,
12.
12 games.
Doubtful.
No,
I just talk about
accurate.
every game for a long time. is the
I mean,
problem.
to put it in perspective, Alex
He's a
has so
marathon
much
gamer.
less stuff to talk about that we had to pull in Frank, a completely new person, just to add more content
Yeah.
into our podcast.
Frank's been on like
Whoa.
how many podcasts would you say Frank's been on?
That's a different Frank. This is the all-new Frank. Look at
Yeah,
this
this is
man.
new
Look at the
Frank.
shades, okay? This is new Frank.
Yeah. This is Ghost in the Shell Frank.
Yeah.
That's
That's how
right.
Frank's always been, really.
This
You want to
is,
see
you
my
know, don't-
swords too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
We got a weeb in our midst.
that's not till film. That's not till film.
Yeah, I played a game entitled Roll, in which you roll dice.
That sounds fun.
Can we?
It's
How did you go from cookie
And-
clicker last time to rolling dice this time?
I don't know. So I've decided that influencers are good at
Turned
marketing
30.
because I saw some video of some guy playing Roll and then I went and bought it. So
This is the reason why I hate people, Alex. Right there, you watch an influencer and then you go buy whatever they're playing. Stop it.
It's $5, so it was also a $5 purchase, like Cookie Clicker. The game's pretty interesting though. Like the concept is, it's essentially a roguelike deck builder, sort of, except for you have dice builder, I suppose.
Nice.
You start with one dice that's 1 to 6, and there's a shop, and you roll the dice, and whatever value you get on the dice goes to your like money, your points that you get, and then you can go spend those in the shop to upgrade your dice. So you can get more dice. You can change faces into like multipliers. You can add things to dice, like you can add weights to certain faces. You can add multipliers to numbers that are on the faces. Then it starts getting like really complicated, where it's like, all right, if you roll a straight, then all the numbers in the straight get moved up 2 values for next rolls. There's like re-rollers. There's all sorts of like crazy upgrades you put on your dice, and the whole goal is you only have 2,500 rolls, and you're just trying to get the highest score possible.
Wait, you
So-
play this game one time and then you're done playing this game?
No, you do like runs. So you have 2,500 rolls in a run,
Huh.
and you start with one die that's 1 to 6, and you end with like, my first run I ended with 46 million points. So it
Okay,
scales
so-
like exponentially, like you're.
By roll, you mean like each individual die that is rolled is a roll.
The numbers
A roll
just
is
keep
like-
getting bigger.
You roll all your die as one thing, and that is a roll.
And how many you get 2,500 of those?
2,500 rolls.
How long does a run take?
It took me like 90 minutes, but I was going pretty slow because I didn't really know what the upgrades did.
90 minutes of rolling dice. I'm just
Um,
saying.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. It's basically like a you have to decide when to stop spending money on upgrades and when to start just rolling out to try to get a high score. So I think when I played around 700 rolls left in the stack, I just held the button to roll and let it accumulate up to 46 million. It's pretty cool.
So you essentially just kind of played a like RNG loot based game that's just been boiled down to its core.
Yeah. It is like
it's like deconstructed
deck building game, except for its dice.
And the goal is just points. Just
the goal is just high score.
Then why are you calling it a
you
deck
don't like it
building
because
game?
there's no end goal.
Yeah.
Just look how big my number is.
See. It probably doesn't have like a very long lasting effect, I would guess. Like you're probably going to play it a couple times and be done. I started another run today, but then ran out of time. But the guy I watched play got like 10 million, and I got like 46 million, so I felt pretty good. And that put me like
easily.
There's a leaderboard at the end, and there are people with like quintillions of points. So there are better strategies that I've not figured out yet.
There always are.
But I was around like 1,200 something on the leaderboard, so that's
wow.
pretty cool. Probably only like 1,200 people that played that game, but
yeah, like 1,205. But hey, you're still beating a few people. That's what matters.
Yeah.
I'll go next. Only played 2 things, one of which I launched today and made my Amazon character. Diablo 2 Resurrected dropped today on battle.net. Importantly, they had a bunch of launch issues. No surprise there. What? They have had people who have built characters, played a lot, logged out, logged back in. Everything is wiped. So that's fun.
Yikes.
Yep. They've also had issues with people logging on because, of course, why would you be able to play Diablo without logging on? You have to log on. There is an option for offline character creation, but it does not include cross progression. So if you want to play on multiple devices, it has to be an online character.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're playing a single player game. Like if you wanted to play one with multiplayer, I would understand that. But if you're just playing a single player, I would love for there to just be cross progression if I don't have to have it registered as an online player.
Well, I think the online part is how are you going to get your save onto other devices if you're not talking to a cloud somewhere?
Well, I mean, like anything, when you close your game, you're updating to a cloud service. I mean, you're playing the game on Steam or on Blizzard. You're updating to a cloud service at arbitrary points. You don't necessarily need to be logged in all the time to make sure that you can have cross progression enabled.
That's fair.
But either way, I think they fixed most of their issues. They were offline for about an hour and a half today over lunch. I think they launched at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So game's been live for a little bit. Just looking at the first cinematic, I'm freaking pumped for this game.
Your pants.
Oh, dude.
That cinematic looks so good.
I don't know how they made it look so good, but they are very, very good at cinematics.
Blizzard is like the best in the industry at cinematics. I don't understand how they do it.
Wrekt's pretty good.
It was incredible.
I'm talking about in like from a technical standpoint.
Yeah. The detail on that man's face was it's pretty crazy.
Like their CG is crazy.
Yeah. I also decided not to play a barbarian for the first time in my Diablo career.
That is weird.
Oh my god.
Very strange.
Yes, I know. I need to stop running away from the group, so I decided to play an Amazon. So I'm just going to backline.
No.
Yeah, it's important. I get dogged for this all the time. I need to better myself, guys. So this is how I'm doing it. I'm playing an Amazon this go around.
I hope it works out for you.
This brings a tear to my eye.
There was like a handful of times we were playing Guild Wars 2 where all of a sudden it was like, wait, why is Aaron up there fighting that mob when we're not even done fighting this mob yet?
Listen, the point of the barbarian is you can't stop, okay? You just got to keep rolling. As the Amazon, you can chill for a little bit and hang out with the group.
Just keep rolling.
Yeah, you keep
rolling.
rolling.
Once you pop, the fun don't stop.
I also, about 3-4 weeks ago, well, actually 3 or 4 weeks now, Gail, Chad and Alex's mom, has been consistently saying, hey, I don't want to pressure you, but you should get Guild Wars 2 and play online
Oh
with
my
me.
god, dude, she's such a pusher.
He really is.
Like, we were talking to her the other day, and she's like, "You guys should get Guild Wars 2." And I'm like, I'm okay. And she's like, "No, you don't understand." And I was like, I'm just really not kind of into this. She's like, "It's not an MMO, you know, it's all this stuff." All of a sudden, I went to go like make a sandwich. I turn around, Ashley's like downloading it, and I'm
really?
like, "Yeah, she was." She was like looking into it, and she's like, "This seems pretty cool." And I'm like, "Hey, go for it."
Cool.
I'm like, go for it. Like, but that's gonna be y'all. That ain't gonna be me. I'm just gonna be sitting over here in my sunglasses.
Yeah, I think
Drinking.
Gail just misses the days of everyone being on the MMOs with her, and is now just like, hey, come on back.
Come
We're
on
back to
back.
the
Guild
good
Wars 2.
times.
I probably wouldn't have bought it, but then of course she got her two sons involved. Well, one of them specifically, and he's like, "Yo, hey, here's the code, bro. It's like $15. You can buy the game plus the expansion." And I was like, "Okay, all right, fine, whatever." So I bought it, and then I immediately just used the character boost to get my character to level 80. And literally, the first thing we did was go play a bunch of PvP. I have never played this game in my life. I don't play MMOs.
Those are choices, friend.
Straight
Why'd
into
you jump into PvP?
I don't
Yeah.
know. That's what they wanted to do. I'm sitting here reading about like the 10 skills I have on my hotbar, plus the like alt or whatever it is where you swap to a different mode, and then those 5 skills. Oh my gosh, I thought Dota was complex in terms of learning.
Yeah,
it.
no.
Woo! Man, that's a lot.
And then you
But-
gotta
Yeah, but-
learn
yeah, but
multiple
which-
classes and,
Wait,
and
wait.
start swapping between those.
So I do have a question though. So which is saltier, Dota 2 or Guild Wars 2 PvP?
Saltier?
Yeah.
Oh,
Dota.
yeah, it's Dota, period.
How
In
many
fact,
more
they-
Russians
Super
play
Dota.
Guild Wars 2?
We actually
Honestly, I don't know. We don't get yelled at all the time, but like apparently when I was playing last night, that was the first time that they had been like any sort of commentary in
yeah,
chat.
we had some like positive interactions with people or nothing from people up until Aaron played last night. And then
Just
it
really
was
brought her eyes.
y'all
out.
They
suck.
griefed Aaron because
y'all suck
he didn't know how to
LMAO,
play.
get good, etc. And then that guy that was doing that, we fought him again several rounds later and won. And he said, "Y'all still suck though." And I was like,
Wow.
He's just like, at the end of the day, no matter what, I got him.
Yeah, it was. I guess I just attract those people when I play games because they show up and they yell at me.
The dude
Mhm.
lost to 2 people who have like little concept of the game. Somebody who just started playing the game at, like an hour ago.
my actual
Somebody
first
who doesn't
interaction
really play
with
the game at all.
Guild Wars 2, and I'm
And
fighting
then-
you.
and then me, who I would say I'm pretty confident in PvP, but like, and he's gonna say we suck.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I
Seems
suck.
rude.
You're
Like,
correct.
Yeah, we're brand
Duh.
new.
I've been thinking about starting up a new business. This is kind of a tangent outside of Guild Wars 2, but I've been thinking about starting up a like anti-troll business where like you just hire people like me and I just join your lobby, I join your party, I join your team. I might not be great at the game. Like I'm decent at most games, but you know, like I don't clap headshots 24/7 like Chad over here.
Mhm.
But like, you know, I do all right. But the thing is, it's like trolls. Oh, I love them because it's like I just love fucking with them. I just love spinning it right back around on them.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I played what was that game with all the ancient gods and stuff? Smite.
Smite.
Right.
Yeah. First time I played Smite, this guy, like, I never played a MOBA in my life. I mean, the first time you play a MOBA, it's like somebody just picked you up off the street and threw you into the jungles of Nam. Like, you don't know what the fuck is going on. You don't know what anything does.
There's like 15 different menus.
Why does that guy have a raccoon tail on his helmet? I don't know, but it's fucking. I don't know. You're just running around, and then this guy's just starts, you know, trolling, and then I just like troll back, and then this guy, I just sucked him in, like I just lured him into my trap. I was like Shelob, just bringing friggin' dudes into my lair, and then proceeded to distract this guy to the point that we won the game.
There you go.
So you just, you know, you get some trolls.
I think this is a good business model. I like this. Just bring you in, have you target the trolls. Yeah, I'm on
Like,
board.
yeah.
People do this enough on their own for free already. That wouldn't be a viable
I mean, most people play video games
business
for free,
opportunity.
but people are making money off of that.
Yeah.
That's true. People pay for boosters all the time.
Yeah,
It's crazy. The only other thing I'll say about this is after we got done with PvP, we instantly went into fractals, which is like, I guess, dungeons or raids, essentially. We get into the first one. I'm like, wow, this seems kind of crazy. What's like, I've never seen anything like this. What's going on? Chad's like, yeah, welcome to endgame content. I have been playing this game all of like an hour and a half, and we literally played the hardest one that exists for like 2 hours.
Wow.
I still didn't know what I was doing when we were done.
No, really where to go up from there, huh?
Here's the thing about this. We
Best
played
content.
like the first fractal, which is pretty easy. It was a lava one. You kind of run through it.
Yeah.
Like nothing really major is happening. There's a few mechanics that are like really cool, such as like the boss will bubble themselves and try to go towards a human that's at the edge of the little cliff thing that you're on. And if they get to it, they will heal back 25% health. But if you auto attack it, it'll break the shell open. So it's like nothing. It's like little things like that. That's nothing major. After we get out of that one, Alex goes, put us in Sunqua. So we go to Sunqua, which is the hardest fractal that they have released. Like the veterans of Guild Wars have called this harder than most raid content. And we like get through most of it, and we're like, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty good. And then we get to the last boss. And while we're on last boss, the first like phase happens, and we lost it at like 3 times in a row. And then we like started to beat it. He like jumps up and away, and then comes back to the middle. I'm like, all right, now for the hard phase. Aaron goes, what? Hard phase? So we lost that like 3 or 4 times in a row. And then we got to the third phase of this. And I was like, okay, welcome to the harder phase. And Aaron was like, what are you talking about, harder phase?
Yeah,
like,
man. It
there's
literally
just
had nothing to do with
things-
like the phases weren't even a problem. Like I understand the mechanics like moving around, healing, breaking, all of that. But then it comes to understanding which of the 15 skills I have, and based on that cooldown, I can cast to do the things that I need to do in game at the right time. I finally figured out what the break skill was. That's, you know what, we've made progress. I'll take it.
There is a mechanic in the game that you use specific skills like knockdowns, chills, confusion, etc. And there's a break bar on the boss that you basically deplete. And once you deplete it, it stuns the boss or makes the boss more vulnerable. It depends on what dungeon you're in. On top of all of this, Fractals is also a place where you're supposed to start getting agony resist. And agony is a kind of damage over time that applies to you and will never come off of you if you get hit by it if you don't have agony resist. And of course, Aaron being a new character and being boosted up to level 80, he only had like the starter 80 gear, and so he had 0 agony resist, and he's playing a cloth character, so he has like little armor. And then on top of that, we put him into a skill where he's going to deplete like over 90% of his health in order to res somebody. So
It worked out great, guys.
Fun
Worked
time.
out great.
That sounds like a good time. Not gonna lie.
Chad, how about you? What have you been playing?
So I've been playing a little bit of Guild Wars.
Oh yeah, Guild Wars. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
I don't remember when you guys went down to Cassie and Sam, but I feel like I started kind of around then.
That was Labor Day.
How long ago was that?
Couple
Whatever.
weeks.
3 weeks.
I kind of started getting back into it around that time because the elite specializations were announced coming in End of Dragon, and the betas were coming. So for right now, what you can do is you can go on to Guild Wars, and if you've purchased End of Dragon, I think if you purchase it, you can play 3 different class types. So there's the warrior that has like the gun blade, so think Ruby. There's
Like Final Fantasy?
Yeah, it's Final Fantasy 2. There's the Revenant that has a great sword now. And then there's an Elementalist that has a hammer now. And so I was testing out that a little bit, and I was actually, because the Revenant's getting a great sword, and I've always wanted a great sword legendary, I farmed out a legendary because I had a ton of stuff over the 9 years that I've been playing that game. And then of course my mom was like, well, I want a legendary. And so I had to help her get a legendary, and that was
fun.
that was a trip. That
Sure.
took a little bit. Dota 2 off and on. Feel like more off than on lately.
Y'all been getting back into the Dota. What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a good game, man.
Dota's a good game.
Good.
I think
Is
some
it?
would say it's the best game ever made.
Mm,
It is the greatest video game of all time.
How many different Alex? Do you remember the number you came up with? How many different hero
No.
compositions there were for Radiant versus Dire? It's like in the trillions, wasn't it?
Yeah.
well, no
I
shit.
never-
I mean, there's like how many heroes in that game? Like 100?
110,
Like
120.
It's like 130, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got two different sides. Like, fuck, dude, that's infinity as far as I'm concerned. I sure as hell ain't gonna play in all them combinations. Alex might,
119.
with the
There
amount
you
of
go,
hours that
119.
he's got. but-
11 trillion, 279 billion, 926,456,656 combinations.
Thank you.
121.
I like that it's a whole number.
Yeah, whole number. Absolutely.
I mean,
It's
you
just a
can't
solid
get-
game.
It's not a solid game.
Oh man, it is. It is.
That's
though.
so good.
Every single time I hear you guys talk about that game, there's always a meta going on. And I feel like a game that has a meta that's always changing is not a solid game.
I feel
Why
like
not?
most
Keeps it
games that
fresh.
have any amount of competitive edge have some sort of meta going on. There's always
Yeah,
a gun
yeah.
that's better.
Always.
There's always a ability that's better. There's always a character that's better.
Okay, so
Any game that can last for a long period of time has a shifting meta.
And if they don't, it probably just gets stagnant and then it just goes away.
It gets stale, and then people stop playing it.
I feel
Yeah.
like even like I
Paladins.
think of CS:GO, which is like one of the games that is pretty basic. That also has like damage shift and meta changes.
Yeah, minor with
Yeah.
the weapons. Mhm.
Yeah.
Why do you bring up paladins? Like you know
I just-
anything about
Yeah.
I just
if
wanted
the
to
meta
say it.
exists or
Yeah.
shifts or
but like the thing is like with CS:GO, right? Like it's still the M16 and the AK-47 is like the go-to. Everyone's always like, "Oh yeah, I want to get that," and they have their preferences. But it's like the op has never gone out of meta.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's harder to make things consistent in Dota because such a minor change can change things across the board because the characters are so different.
Because people are fucking crazy.
That too.
I think the craziest change ever was when they raised Nature's Prophet's base attack by like 2, and then he was like the most powerful
Powerful
hero
hero.
in the patch for a couple weeks until they did something about it.
2 whole points base attack.
That's-
And there's always the
that's
joke
crazy.
about like the meme from Doom when they raised his armor by 1. And then now every single time there's a patch where they raise somebody's armor by 1, the same meme comes up. He's literally taking no damage.
It's a good game.
I will say the thing about Dota is that I don't play it enough to know what I'm doing, but when
Yeah.
I make a good play, I know it and I feel good about it.
It feels so good. The
Yeah,
highs are
so
so high in Dota is the
I think
problem.
The highs
Problem
are so
is they're
high.
so infrequent.
They're so
Yeah.
infrequent,
And
and
the
the
lows are
lows
so
are
low.
really fucking low.
The lows are
Like, I'm
super
talking
low.
deep, dude. Like Mariana Trench ain't got shit when I'm
Yeah.
getting friggin' railed in Dota.
I think to go back to the initial question that you posed though, Frank, is like why are we getting back into it so much? For me, I stopped really playing the 3 position and up, and so I wasn't really the carry anymore. And
What
I
does
felt
that mean?
I felt so there's like the carry, then there's the soft carry, and then there's like the middle laner, and then there's the 2 supports, right? You at least know that, correct?
I know what those
Positions
words mean.
1
I
through
didn't
5.
I didn't know that was like a composition.
Yeah.
Position
Positions 1
one's
through
farming.
5 are
Position 2 is like a mid ganker. Position 3 is an offlaner. Position 4 is soft support, and position 5 is your hard support.
and
Obviously.
the numbers 1 through 5
Mm.
represent farm priority.
Correct.
Yeah. So I started playing the 5 and
Get
4
your
position.
spreadsheets out.
So I'm not farming much anymore. But the 5 and 4 positions I think are the best playmakers of the game, because if you choose a character that is able to stun or force the team to attack you and have your carry come in and mop the floor with them, like you were saying, it feels really good when you set up those plays. And so for a while there, I was getting really good plays, and then for a while there was a lot of L's. It's weird. We go on like 8-game win streak, and then we go 8-game lose streak, and it's like, holy, can this be spread? Can I like win lose? Can it not
No,
be
you
like?
can't.
I think a significant thing that's happened over the years is they've done a lot to make playing support not awful.
Yeah.
Like supports actually have gold now because like TPs are free when you die. Wards are free. Sentries
Killing
are cheap.
enemy wards is you get gold
killing
from that.
enemy wards, you get gold, so you're incentivized to do that. You get gold from stacking, like when your carry takes a stack that you made, you get gold from that. So
yeah, I always felt bad when like I was playing support because I don't know what I'm doing. So you guys always made me play support. So like whenever it was like the 5 of us, it'd be like I'd be like, hey guys, can I play like sniper mid? And they're like, no.
I don't think we ever just said no.
I don't think we ever do that.
Why don't you play disruptor and just stay bottom lane? I'm like, okay.
Okay.
And then I'd get some sick disruptor plays, and they'd be like, Frank, that was a great play. And I'm like, cool. Does that mean I get to play sniper next? No.
It's not allowed.
Man.
But yeah,
Yes.
the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, Dota 2 in stores now.
We had Derek play a game with us.
Wow,
Never
you're gonna
touched
call
this
him
game
out right now.
Oh, this
No,
is
I'm gonna
hilarious.
call you out because for some reason
This is hilarious.
the decision was to put him on position 1 because all you have to
yeah.
do is hit creeps and enemies. You
That's
don't
all you
really
gotta
have to
do.
do too
Hit
much.
creeps and
Dude,
enemies, dude.
Wow.
That's not
Sven.
an easy fucking thing to do.
You can't just put somebody that doesn't know how to play on one position. You literally can't win the game if your carry is not competent.
Hey, you have 2 more carries.
I have since changed my mind about this and agree with Alex.
Oh, you have? Okay.
If you have an
100%.
incompetent 5th position that does basically nothing, they can show up and cast an ult occasionally, and it has like some effect in a fight. If you have a Sven that literally can't purchase items, he has 0 effect on your game whatsoever. Like you are literally 4v5ing.
This isn't an exaggeration on the not purchase, like can't purchase. He like I would look in Fountain and there would be literal just items floating everywhere because he's filled up his stash, and it like anytime he buys another item,
He's
it would
trying.
go into the fountain. And then I'm like, no, you need to drag
It's like
that
4
in your
pairs of
inventory.
boots in the fountain. He's like, oh, boot, I don't know.
I bought boots, but I don't
wasn't-
have them.
My wand didn't get into it. Like, I don't know, where's my wand? Why is my wand not it? And so yeah, Aaron was a great coach and a great friend for doing that.
Wow. I
I've
gotta
always
send him a
thought
text
him
message
as
right
a-
now
as a
for being
great
called
friend.
out so hard on the podcast.
Well, he's not the one that's being called out. Honestly, it's you. You should have either
Yeah.
been in coach mode,
yeah, but
or you should have been
yes.
focusing on him more.
Yes, you're
So-
right. I should have been in coach mode.
So that's my other business, is along with anti-troll defense. It's also going to be highly unprofessional coaching for professional video games.
This is
Oh, just create a Fiverr.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Oh,
Create a Fiverr and
that's a
just be
great
like,
idea.
I'm,
Hey man,
I'm
I'll come in. I'll come
immortal-
into your Dota game and coach you.
I'm a what's like the highest rank in Dota? I'm a whatever the highest rank is on my second account. I'll coach you. Comes in on your like bronze
Gosh.
account. Yeah. So what you gonna do is you're gonna play sniper.
I'm like, you bought boots. What are you doing?
All right, look, I shouldn't even apologize. He said sorry, wasn't even listening. He's playing early access FIFA 2022 So I've lost all
Oh
respect.
my gosh.
Wow.
You expected
gonna
a
call him
person that plays early access FIFA 2022 to be able to be competent at Dota.
All right, moving on from Dota.
Yeah, move on,
Rocket
move on.
League. We've been on Dota for the entire podcast. Okay, so played a little bit of Rocket League. Got back into that because Aaron started booting it up, and I was like, I should probably boot it up too.
ain't got
Picked
no
up my
boost.
controller. 1v1 the kid the other day and realized that Dota and Rocket League make me toxic, and probably Brawlhalla too.
Oh, that's why I don't
because-
play Brawlhalla anymore.
Oh,
Do the
Because-
games make you toxic, or are you just already toxic and in the game?
So how about the games?
It brings it out.
brings me
It brings
back
it
to
out,
my
that's
youth
fair.
and
Yeah.
it brings the toxicity that's in my inner side out. And I basically, it was 5-1, and I told a dude, and it was like 3 minutes into the game, and I told a dude GGFF, and he didn't, and I just held the ball like the whole rest of the game, just didn't let him
Wow.
score on me.
Wait, was he even being toxic, or did you just like
no,
you
just
were
straight
beating him
up,
so
like,
hard you were
God
GGFF?
damn, beat him
man.
so hard, like I'm moving on to the next
Wow.
one, like GGFF. So Rocket League is one of those timeless games. You can always pick that back up. It's nice. It's also really if you wanted to get into like esports, I think Rocket League would be like the easiest to watch because it's literally just soccer. So
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like Rocket League, like matches. Like my dad watched it with me, and my dad doesn't even like sports, let alone video games. Video games. He's like, the only video game he ever played in his life was Snake on a Nokia from fucking 1998,
Good game, man. Good game.
and a Game Boy Advance version of The Sims that he picked up one night after he was drinking. He just like picked it up and he was like, "What is this?"
They made The Sims on Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did. It was
yeah.
not good. It
It
was
was
not
It's
good.
really hard to
That
play on
seems
that.
Yeah,
awful.
like your first job was like washing windows, and my dad was like, "Oh, this is great." And then he tried to play it the next day. He's like, "Wait, I'm playing a game where I have to work. This is fucking stupid."
Yup.
There's still a lot of people playing Rocket League too. I just wanted to mention that they
there's a second one?
estimated. Huh? Oh yeah,
playing
yeah,
Rocket
yeah.
League
Funny,
too.
funny,
Me too.
funny, funny, funny. They estimate there's like around like 60-some thousand playing right now. So it's it's an active game.
Technically, Rocket League is a sequel.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah,
To Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Power Battle Cars.
That's
Yeah.
the one.
One of the best
Good
video game
recollection,
names of all time.
Also, one of the best theme songs ever.
Valid point. Valid point.
Look it up when you get a chance. Hot beats.
So another game I've been playing is some Pokemon Unite. I was trying to get through the battle pass, which was unsuccessful. I was on rank 69, which is actually kind of hilarious because we had discussed like I should play up to 69 and then stop. I really wanted to get to 70 because there was the Pikachu hoodie, but I didn't do that. And I launched the game and there's a whole new battle pass and there's like tweaks and stuff. And the UI looks a tiny bit better, but now I'm confused on where everything is because they changed it and I used to know where everything was. And there's so many menus. So probably get back into that a little bit since they didn't. It's like the next season, I guess.
They launched on mobile.
They did launch on mobile, which I'm supposed to get a Pikachu because I signed up on mobile or whatever, or I think that's just how they're doing it with the community, is they're giving Pikachus to everybody. But
I
haven't
chose
had that
Pikachu
show
as
up.
my first Pokemon. What the heck?
You were supposed to get, so it was either Pikachu or the points that Pikachu would be equal to.
Oh, okay, I'll take the points.
Yeah, take the points. Another game I tried out was, I did not purchase it. I only got the demo out of the Switch, and Kate and I played WarioWare. Get It Together.
Did you get it together?
Was that fun?
It was
Is it multiplayer?
it is multiplayer, which is kind of interesting.
Weird.
You get to play multiple characters, which single player or not, there's multiple characters that you get to play as. There's Wario, which has a jetpack, and you know when you hit the button, you dash forward in a certain direction. Then there's a guy that all he does is jump, and he jumps high, and he's like Mario platforming basically. Then there's somebody who throws a boomerang, and then you get to like after the boomerang throws out, you control the boomerang while it flies around the map. There's a guy that can't move but can shoot stuff, so he's like stationary and he shoots stuff out of his hands. And then there's the last character, which is they bounce constantly. You can't stop them from jumping, and then they throw out like shurikens.
Or you can.
So
I don't understand. Is this not like a micro games game where it's just like complete the task and then the next thing shows up and you complete that task?
It is.
I've never. Okay, but there are characters.
It also has a ton of characters, so that those same tasks are changed up every time, or you do them differently every time.
Oh, weird.
So, for instance, there's like one that's like, don't touch the candy, and it's like on a platform with like 4 boxes that you have to break. The guy who shoots stuff out of his hands, that one's super easy. The guy who jumps, super difficult. Like it's super hard to like hit the boxes without hitting the candy with the jumpy guy.
Coming
and
into
then-
this conversation halfway through, this sounds like the most fucked up and awesome video game of all time.
Well, if you missed it, it's WarioWare Get It Together. So it's like that. If
That
you ever-
explains everything.
Right.
No, I got you now. I got you now.
So then there's like one where it's like Tweez It, and there's a statue with like hairy armpits, and so you have to like pull out all the hair, or you jump through all the hair, or you dash through all the hair.
Weird.
And it speeds up as you're going because that's just how WarioWare works. And it's super difficult towards like rank 14, 15, etc. It was fun though. I don't think it's $50 fun. I think it's definitely like way overpriced.
$50.
Nintendo.
Yeah,
Dang.
it's
Yeah,
$50
Nintendo.
for that. And so when playing the demo though, you could probably get some fun out of that and just keep the demo on your freaking Switch and play through a couple of those levels.
Hot takes. Just play the demo.
Nintendo's like, yo, you want any game with any of our characters in it? Full price.
Yeah.
Full price.
I
Always.
was getting the sense of like I really missed having the Palm Pilot feel of like I don't know doing the swirl motion or like just the things
Oh, the
that are,
DS
like
WarioWare
the DS
games.
version where it's just like
Yeah,
it
those
was
were good.
super clean because it was like built for it, and so like this one on screen with like a controller in your hand, it felt kind of like pulled away from the rest of what WarioWare is. It felt a little wonky, a little clunky. To me, at least.
Owen, let's move on to you. What have you been playing lately?
Well, I've been playing a couple of things. One of which is I've been checking out the Valheim update, Hearth and Home. Pretty solid. I mean, it hasn't really, given me any more combat gameplay, but I do appreciate the new building things. They added basically you can now have glass windows, and they've also added in a new mechanic of like cooking. So the food, HP, and energy that you have is now different, and the different meats that you get from different baddies and things like that are cooked differently. That'll give you either more health or more energy or both or whatever.
So adding complexity to the game. I see.
Adding a little complexity to the food part of the game,
Dude,
and adding
food was
some
already
cool
tough,
stuff.
man.
And I was kind of like, hey, I'm about this. This is pretty solid. So that's been a nice thing to kind of go back through and kind of build some things. They at some point did some updates on the like elevation slash topography, so you could like build you could like dig down or raise the earth up easier than their old system, but I didn't notice that until I was back playing the update. So it was nice, and it was pretty solid. And I don't understand why the people that are making this game are getting death threats over it, because it's just an update and it's free and it's a game in open beta. So I don't know why anyone has any complaints, but it's a game.
And I mean, also when the game came out in open beta, I mean, it was solid.
Yeah, I mean, we played it a decent chunk, and I mean, if I remember correctly, the game was what, like $12-15, something like that?
$20.
It's
20
also
bucks.
tiny.
Yeah. The fact that they're able to fit so much of a game in such small amounts of actual storage space in your computer, and it runs so well, and it plays so interestingly, and it's so cheap, I was like, this game is just worth checking out for anyone who has any amount of curiosity in it.
Mm-hmm.
Not to go off on a tangent, but I feel like Valheim came out in like a perfect storm.
It really
of
did.
of what was going on. Like everyone's at home, everyone's missing out on the social aspects of life that they're used to, that brings them comfort, and suddenly this game comes along that's cheap, it's accessible, and it's got those hooks that you want.
Yeah.
It definitely came in the right time of the pandemic starting and everybody looking for games to play with friends, because I think that was one of those things that we latched onto, along with things like Among Us, because it was just like, hey, it's easy to pick up, it's fun to play, I thought that was pretty solid.
I think those add to the low barrier of entry too. Like, you don't need to have like a ton of knowledge about how to play that certain style of game. Like, Among Us has a very, very low barrier to entry. It's very easy to play, very fun. Valheim was, it was definitely more complex, but it was still fun and easily accessible to a lot of people.
Yeah, you collect wood, build house.
Yeah, you find your role. I mean, there's essentially 4 roles in Valheim. There's the builder, there's the explorer, there's the housekeeper, who's just
sounds fun.
Is always an OCD, just person who's like, guys, deer hides don't go in this chest. They go in this chest.
That was Chad. That was
the deer hide chest.
Chad having our entire organization of the village, which I don't know how you're able to keep it all so well. It worked so well, and then I went off and made my own castle, and I've just got fucking chests of random shit everywhere, and I hate it so much.
My friends literally have chests stacked wall to wall, and then they're so close together to where you have to aim pixel perfect. And then they just throw everything in these chests. And I'm like, guys, why is there a feather in 40 of these chests, and it's just a single one? Put them together. And then one of them was like, listen, if you're gonna want organization, none of us care, so you're gonna have to do it. And I was just like, why are there random broken tools? I actually I forgot how to delete items. I don't even know if you can.
You can now. That was one of the big things in the update is there's now the obliterator, which you just throw everything in the obliterator and you press a button and it goes away.
Okay.
Because this is the only way to delete stuff.
I just liked digging a huge ass pit in the middle of the base with a little wall around it, so that way it's just oh yeah, just whatever, toss some shit down in there.
Yeah, I want to remind a huge hole and threw some wood over it, and then put 2 handrails to where you can walk all the way up to it and not fall in. Just throw stuff in there, and then a monster got trapped down there, so we have a friend.
There you go. Yeah, I ended up using, when I was building my castle, I built it on an island and just water on all sides, and there's a corner of that castle that I would go to and just chuck shit that I didn't need. Because I was just like, goodbye, I don't need this. But now there's the obliterator, so I'm so glad, because now I don't have this graveyard behind my castle anymore.
If you have a minute and you have Valheim updated, you should go into our base and find Owen's fort and go check out his castle. It's actually
Chad,
really cool.
I built the lighthouse finally. I now have a 8-story lighthouse off the coast that's just hanging out.
His castle's really cool.
It took me there's a reason why I have 200 hours in this game, because I think 100 hours of it was building that goddamn castle.
I thought I was grinding that game.
The thing is I think Valheim was the first game that was a survival build kind of game, like Minecraft Ark, any of those things where I actually got creative and got really in depth and actually built something that I was like, this is actually really cool. I did something here.
Frank, I love your house in that game. I constantly pass it and make sure I repair your house and make sure it's okay.
That bum ass house?
Yeah.
No, dude, I made a full on friggin' 6-decker friggin' circular house in the side of a mountain.
Oh, I gotta find that then.
That's incredible. It's on a different server, but I don't even think, I think it's gone now.
I think the other thing that
Tears Fall.
I think one of the other things that is really neat about it is that Chad and some of his buddies were playing on our server and they had new characters, and I was excited to see them stumble upon some of the remnants of things that either people were building or have built. And I was like, this is gonna be fun for them when they walk into this world. And it reminds me of when we were going through at the start.
You know what's amazing about that? Do you remember when Alex built a house and was like, this is going to be my secret base?
And we all found it,
immediately stumbled upon it. The first player built thing that they stumbled across was Alex's house. The little secret
so
base.
sad.
Yeah.
Great secret, Alex. I'm so proud of you.
You know that we have a very large ravine that is to the north of our the north of the starting area.
Mm-hmm.
that cuts off like our base from the dark woods of the mountains that are to the north of us. And if you go directly north from the starting area, there is a large, and I mean massive, bridge that I built connecting the meadows to the thing. And I was just like, at some point, Chad and his buddies are gonna walk around and just find this bridge and be like, "What the fuck is this?" and just use it and just be like, "This is so cool." And so I don't know. I really enjoy this game, and I really like playing with people, and it's going to be very exciting to see people just kind of like pour back in either a little bit or a lot or whatever it might be, and just kind of be like, oh, this is neat, and find kind of the things that are built. I wish there was kind of more content in it as far as like bosses to beat or monsters to fight, but that's kind of not why you're there. You're there to build cool shit with your friends, and so...
Well, like you said, you got like 200 hours in that game. I mean, you got more than your money's worth.
I've gotten my money's worth,
and you're telling stories about it. The greatest thing about an adventure is that there's always a beginning and an end.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't always just have it keep going. So you can have tales that you can tell throughout. But it's essentially like wanting to play a video game forever is essentially wanting to just stay in your 20s and just party all the time.
Heck yeah, dude.
Wow. Frank's getting fucking deep right now, and I haven't even...
Listen, I've been drinking.
Yeah.
So...
Damn, man.
That'll do it.
You're not wrong.
So to get undeep for a second, my friend's building
giant dick.
No, they're the house. They're trying to build a roof. They figured out that the building mechanics aren't as straightforward as place wood, it'll stay.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing that I love about that game, though.
Yeah, no, it's really cool because you actually have to have like foundational pieces, and they spent. I think my friend said that he was on there for about 2 hours before the other friend got on. And they spent about like 4 hours trying to put this roof together before I told them, oh, you have to put foundation pieces. Like there needs to be pieces like touching the ground to make sure that there's like strength going all the way up.
Yeah.
And as soon as I said that, it was fixed. And he was like, where's the noose?
Remember when we were building the longhouse and we couldn't figure out how to do the top center of the longhouse because we didn't have enough support. And then Aaron just shows up and he's like, oh no, you just need like a substructure here, and just builds a fucking bunch of scaffolding, and then it just worked. And I was like, what the shit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see that
It's like wood construction work. Okay, sign me up.
Done.
Yeah, no, that game is like a engineer's wet dream.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I do recommend checking out the new update. It's very neat. They've added a plethora of good things for building in your creativity.
You might say.
Yeah, I've also I am back into doing some World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic. They released the Phase 2 raid content, so I have been playing that because I want to do all the raids in Burning Crusades because it's my childhood. As Frank just said, trying to play a game for forever that is nostalgic to you. I've been living that up. I've also been playing Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time again.
No, hold up. Rewind it back for just 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They released a Burning Crusade Classic, so they're essentially just re-releasing WoW.
Yeah.
Where
Are
have you
we
been,
getting-
dude?
That is...
I feel like if you zoom into the future far enough, then they'll be at retail at some point in Classic, right?
Well, and then you
like-
zoom
like-
further into the future, and they re-release Classic again. They don't call it Classic this time. They call it Original.
By the way,
Redux.
they're doing that already.
Redux.
You don't have to go that far. They're redoing the regular vanilla Classic, because they're like, hey, some people still want to play this, but they want to just have fresh servers and things like that. So they're going to do a fresh server start for that at some point in the future.
So like 3-4 years from now, some friggin' influencer on YouTube is going to be talking about World of Warcraft Cataclysm Classic.
I think so. I think the major kind of thought process behind this is I think a lot of people think that Wrath of the Lich King is going to be like the cutoff point. So you'll end up having whatever retail is, a Wrath of the Lich King, a Burning Crusades, and then a Classic. And those will be like the variations of the game.
I wonder if they'll ever get to the point where they basically just do what they did with Diablo 3, where you have like a season. The season would have to be longer because it takes longer to do stuff in WoW, but like they roll a server that's like, all right, start fresh from the beginning of Classic, and then like you get as far as you can in this time period, and then we just roll it again. And you can take your seasonal characters into real servers at the end of the season. EverQuest does that?
Yeah, EverQuest does that.
That.
Yeah, that seems awful as far as MMOs go, but they might do something. I mean, I don't know. At this point, I feel like Blizzard's just kind of like twiddling their fingers, trying to figure out how to make any sort of money and or not get sued, and they're just failing at both.
Yeah, EverQuest does. It's called time-locked progression servers. And so there's a certain period.
It's catchy.
You do your crap, and then the next time lock progression server pops up, and then you just repeat it, and then that's it. I can actually see Classic, like vanilla, actually doing that.
I can see Classic doing it as well, just because of the people that are trying to do like firsts or like speed runs of things and like try to be like the first on the server to beat content.
Yeah, you can essentially just have a speedrunner group that.
Oh God.
Well, there was also the private community that would create their own servers before Classic came out.
Yeah.
And they would constantly have to. They can only last for so long, and so like the servers like fall apart, or like people would stop managing them, and then they just do it all over again with some new management or whatever. And so one of my buddies that I was doing raids with and such, he was in all those private servers, and then he did Classic, and he's just like, I'm gonna do it again if it does it again. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So much level 60.
I'm probably going to wean myself off post Burning Crusade, because Burning Crusade was like the point for me that I was like really into it, and I was playing it after school every day, and I was also just bad, so I never got to do the raid content. So the fact So the fact that I now can go back through that nostalgia and then also beat the things that I was bad at and be like, oh, this is the stuff that I was missing. This is how to play a character good. It's kind of nice. And so I have been back to that, and to Frank, to the point that you were making of things, and I firmly believe that they're probably going to cap it off after Wrath, just because of the fact that a lot of the people that were developing and designing vanilla, the story was set to end at Wrath, and a lot of the plans that they had were things that poured into Burning Crusades and then later Wrath of the Lich King.
Like, what comes after this?
Well,
I don't know, man.
That's why they did the pandas and the Cataclysm stuff, was because of the fact they ran out of ideas and they were just going off on a brand new story arc. So a lot of people are like, this will probably be like book one kind of thing. Like, they'll just do these three things, and this will be the cutoff, and then everything else will be like book two or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, been doing that, and then also been playing some Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, because it's awesome, and also because I'm prepping for Extra Life. So if you want to see me try to do the Water Temple without the Water Tunic, which is a challenge that Jake inspired, or defeat Ganon with a bottle, which is going to be into the other thing I do, check out our Extra Life stream on November 6th, which is very, very soon.
It's very soon. Hey, quick question about the Water Temple thing.
Yeah.
What's the minimum number of hearts you have in Ocarina of Time? Like starting hearts.
Oh, starting hearts?
Yeah, or the lowest amount of hearts you can possibly have and still reach the Water Temple.
It's gotta be 3, right? You don't have to pick up the piece of heart from the bosses.
I was gonna say, you don't have to pick up the ones from the bosses. So you could potentially be there with only 3 or 4.
I want you to beat it with 3, Owen.
Okay, there's a problem. I've already gotten to that point in my gameplay, and I have way more than that.
Turn the game off.
New save.
Oh,
3 hearts, Owen. That's the real challenge.
You got over a month, Owen. You got plenty of time.
You got plenty of time to get it. You got
Aaron, if you help me break 3,500, I'll do it. I'll fucking do it.
What are you at right now?
I'm currently at 3075.
Okay, awesome. All right. All right.
You'd have to give him $425 for this.
Well, I'm gonna need something in writing, Owen. Send it to me.
I mean, if you go to my Extra Life page, there's already a bunch of incentives already there.
Yeah, a bunch of incentives.
Yeah, I've got incentives for because I'm going to play Fuser for a little bit. So if you want to request a song while I'm playing Fuser, that'll be a couple bucks, and that'll run in there. I'm also, since now I got the webcam and I have a bunch of hot peppers, I'm going to hate my life. And I'm going to use some very hot peppers on stream as well.
You're a psychopath.
Dude,
Bad idea.
Yeah, you're gonna fucking need an extra life after eating that shit.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. That's gonna be a terrible idea, but that's why, hey, incentives so I can raise the money for the kids.
Damn
Caleb,
right.
let's move on to you. You haven't said much in the last, I don't know, how long have we been doing this podcast? About an hour.
Yeah. Well, all of those are games that I don't really play or haven't played or don't have much
And
to
he
say
thinks they're trash.
Yeah.
Well, some of them, yes. I would agree. Yeah. No, but I really only been playing 2 games, which is not normal for me. One of them's Deathloop. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. And the other one is more Wrath of the Righteous. I've been playing tons of Wrath of the Righteous. It's really
It's
good.
your second full-time job, it seems.
It's I've been having a lot of fun with it.
full-time job.
Now
did-
this is Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
You've played 60.9 hours in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, there you go.
More than a
That's a lot.
full-time job.
I have
That's
just
a
left
lot.
it up sometimes.
Alex, how many
God.
hours?
Always
Not all
your
that
demise.
much.
Damn.
Not all
How
that
many-
much.
How many hours in Deathloop do you have, Alex, since it came out?
Only like
Oh.
20-something.
Only 20 something? Okay, all right.
22.5.
I don't want to ask how many hours you have in Cookie Clicker. Frank, Caleb, do you have more to talk about?
Not really.
Okay, Frank, tell us what you've been playing.
I was really disappointed. I wanted to hear more about Wrath of the Righteous.
Oh,
I
we
love
can
those
talk about
kinds
it
of
more.
games.
You have to listen to the podcast from 2 weeks ago, Frank. Get all you need.
I know. It's the worst having to listen to this podcast. Can't
Jesus. Guests on this podcast doesn't even listen to it.
imagine.
That's just because I'm just too cool. So I haven't been on this podcast in a while, so of course I've played a lot of games. So I really just kind of went back through my multiple libraries of video games and picked out the ones that I'd like to talk about. The one that I'm starting with is a game called Hell Let Loose. For those that have been longtime listeners, you know that I am a sucker for large military realistic based mil sim shooters. And I think half an hour mission, boys, and
30 minutes in and out.
Good times.
Jake's never gonna let that go.
Nah, never playing a game with you ever again.
Yeah, but dude, come on. You remember that time that we were in a Jeep and we crashed through a house, and on the other side of the house was like 30 fucking cartel members that all started shooting at us, and you were freaking out, and then somebody hopped on the gun. It was anyway. So I digress. Hell Let Loose. I think so. It's a World War II based game. I think all the server size is about 100 players, 50 versus 50. They recently just added the Russian faction into the game. Originally, it was just the USA versus Germany, and it featured a lot of maps in France. But now that they've added Russia in, it kind of adds in a few more things. I think Chad put it in a good sense where like when you boil the components down of Hell Let Loose, it is essentially Squad in World War II. But as opposed to Squad, where you feel like you get shot and you don't know why you died and you can't get kills and you don't know what's going on, it feels like in Hell Let Loose, no matter what you're doing, you're still contributing to the game. Mm. And it's pretty crazy. I mean, the sound design is really good. You have to think about what you're doing. All the weapons are, like punch real good. And I think it's a really fun game when you have a whole bunch of people together. I mean, playing solo, you can make the best of it as you will. Also, as far as games that have a medic class go, I think this is one of the best. because you can just shit talk everybody.
Hmm.
You're like, dude, listen, friggin', Cro-Magnon man, you've gotten shot like 5 times coming up to the same spot. You die again, I'm not getting you up. But then they die again, and then you don't get them up. And then you walk up to them,
Nice.
and you're like, I told you.
Again,
Now
one
walk
chance.
back from
Like,
spawn,
It turns
which is
out
actually a punishment.
that when 5 times you look through a window, you get shot in the face. The 6th time isn't going to be son. The only thing that's magic is the fact that your brains have exploded out of the back of your head 6 times, and I'm still able to get you up.
That is pretty magical.
That is.
So I don't know, Chad. I think you've played a couple times, and I think Travis has popped in. So I was just curious on what your thoughts on the game were.
I think the game's great. I think was it in early access when we were playing it? And is it still?
It's out now.
Oh yes,
It's out now. Okay.
Oh, it is.
My
1.0.
biggest issue with the game, and I don't know, I feel like it's just design. They need to like do some more work on the design of not being able to render in stuff further away from you. My biggest issue though is the frame rate and how my mouse feels in that game compared to other shooters. Like I feel like there's a little bit of an input lag on my mouse. I don't know if there's mouse acceleration or what, but other than that,
I think the game feels a little stiff.
Yeah, other than that, like the game is like fantastic, and if it's something that like you just want to kick it back with some friends and get into some shenanigans and get into an alleyway where there's like a tank shooting at you and you're trying to get your rocket bro to shoot it, but then everybody keeps dying and you got to spawn it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of shouting. The fact that you can spend half an hour in a match with your tiny little team where your mission is just I'm gonna blow up that fucking tank. and then when you do, you're like, yes. Yep. And then just some armchair sergeant who's the commander of your side is like, hey, great job taking out that tank, guys. Great. And also, if I played more, I would figure out when I actually kill somebody, because there's sometimes at distance that I have shot somebody and Frank's been like, "Oh, nice shot," and I'd be like, "I killed him."
You're like, "Did I get him?" Well, I mean, the thing is, right? You're looking through iron sights. Like most of the guns don't have scopes, so you're just looking at a little blip, and then you shoot, and then you have recoil, and you're like, I don't see anything. I think I got him.
The kill feed. See if you got him.
No,
I like a little recognition there,
Yeah. Another game that I've been playing is Civilization 6.
An Owen classic.
I love me some Civilization. I always have since the very first one. I don't know what it is. I always just want one more turn in all those games. And it's odd seeing how I feel like I'm getting a little old because I don't like what Civilization 6 is doing. I feel like it's fucking up my civilization.
Seems like that general consensus almost.
Okay.
Really?
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Like, I feel like I've seen a lot of stuff where people are they're not into 6 and they just go back and play 5 again.
Really?
Yeah. Like
I think 6 is better, but
I mean, I feel like 6 is just too divisive. I feel it just kind of lays everything out right for you. I mean, I thought that the district aspect of the game, where instead of taking each tile and building things up, with your workers, instead of having your workers be like limited, and then you build it up to actually have the city build things up. That was interesting, but I don't know. It just wasn't pulling me in. Also, I did not give a shit about any of the civilizations that were in Civilization 6. And it was on sale, and so I got like all of them. And I was like, man, all these like...
Are they not just the same civilizations that have always been in Civilization?
No, they're pulling out these like avant-garde like nobody knows about them.
Yeah,
leaders
there's like
in
the
certain
Polynesia or whatever, which is
Yeah.
dope.
And then, but like, who the fuck cares?
Dude, Polynesia is the best. You should always play Polynesia.
I just want to play as Genghis Khan.
Mm,
Can you
yeah.
not?
Genghis Khan ain't in the game.
Really?
I think Kublai Khan is in it, but fuck that guy. So, but the reason why I was getting into Civilization was that I wasn't getting enough done around the house. So Civilization was a good game to play where it's like, okay, play a few turns, get up, go do something, come back, do some more, and then go back, and then eventually get tired because I just that game just doesn't pull me in like Civilization 5. The last game that I want to talk about before we dive into a total hellhole is a game called Hard Space Shipbreaker.
Good enunciation.
Yep.
It's well, because if I say it with my main vernacular, it might sound like something else. Shipbreaker.
Yeah, there you go.
I purposely said shipbreaker.
Yep.
That's how we say it.
Uh-huh.
I love this game. So it's a game where you're just a like a junkyard worker in space. You come in, you're immediately brought under into debt in like the billions of dollars to get into this job, and then the entire time you're working off your debt. And
Just
you do
like
this
modern society.
Yeah, just like
Wow.
modern society. And you do this by taking derelict ships and breaking them apart. This game has a very complex physics engine. You have to approach the ship. You have these like different scanners you can use, and they have these views that very much remind me of something that you would see in like an 80s sci-fi movie, very aliens-esque, where you can tell if a compartment is pressurized or not. And if suddenly you breach it without properly venting it, suddenly you could have an explosive decompression. You could have explosions throughout the ship. So you have to very smartly take apart this ship and then bring it to different areas. And you start to get tools and all these things. But the thing that I love the most about the game is the soundtrack. The soundtrack in that game brings me right back to Firefly. Like Greg Edmonson, a lot of twangy guitar.
Nice.
Like very minimalist. Like when I need to concentrate at work, that's on my concentration playlist because it's very much in the background. But it's smooth. It's great. And you're always against the clock. You only have 15 minutes per shift. And at the end of the shift, you have to like what you get is what you get. So if you don't get enough salvage, you have costs where you're renting your hazmat suit and your tools and all the tools, disposable tools you use. So you might end up having a negative balance. So you're very much trying to rush, but also play safe. And I've definitely gotten into some bad situations, but it's a game that's very zen. I would recommend it to anybody that just needs a little something that's kind of relaxing but also engaging at the same time.
Yeah, it seems really chill to play.
I hear business is booming in the shipbreaking business.
It is.
Yeah. It's a good tagline for them. Jake,
What's up?
I know you have one game you've played,
I do, in fact.
and
I've
it
been
is
playing-
the game that everybody's
Yes.
going to talk about. Do you want to just intro us into the game section so you can talk about this one game?
Sure. So I've been playing Deathloop since it
Man,
came out.
fuck that game.
What's wrong with Deathloop?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Never heard of it.
It's by Arcane, who are the guys who made Prey, the new Prey, and
Oh,
Dishonored.
so it sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
You got it.
Whoa, buddy.
But it's really fun. It is, you are playing this guy and you are stuck on an island that is reliving the same day over and over again. And so your objective is to kill these 8 guys, these 8 visionaries. But the issue is they don't like to hang out with each other. They're all in different spots, and most of them are only available like at a certain time. So you've basically got to keep going, learning stuff to figure out how to trick them into all getting together so you can kill like 4 of them in one go and get all 8 in one loop. I haven't finished it yet, but so far it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's a blast to actually play the game. Just running around shooting people is so much fun.
Yeah, so fuck that game.
I think a lot of the issues you were bringing up earlier, Frank, will have in common, even though I still like the game a lot. A lot of us think
Spoilers, dude.
that this game might be considered too easy.
Way
Yes.
too easy.
Yeah.
And there's no difficulty settings, right?
There's no
No.
difficulty setting.
No.
No.
It's just set to easy mode, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there PvP?
There
There is.
There is, yep.
So you can be
Go there.
invaded by
That'll
a
be
real
hard mode.
person that is playing Juliana, and the difficulty spike when that happens is so dramatic.
It's huge. Yeah.
It is the only difficult part of the entire game.
Yeah. It does add a lot of tension. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do have one question. I've never played as Juliana before yet.
Okay.
Does
Yeah, me
if you're
neither.
playing as Juliana, do you know where Colt is?
No.
Colt being the main
No.
character. Okay,
I don't believe
because
so.
because
You do
all
not.
I've done
You
is
know where it
is
needs to be, but
is I get close until I hear them moving, because Juliana in my game almost always has the blink ability. So I hear it go off, and then I just get up high and hide, and I just sit there, and I wait until they show up, and then I kill them.
Yeah.
That is probably like the only stealthy part of the game that I feel like I have to do.
Yeah.
oh yeah, it in no way requires stealth to play.
I think that's so. I think that Deathloop's like overall design is genius. I mean, it's taking a whole bunch of different concepts where you have the Deus Ex or the Dishonored type, multiple solutions to the same problem kind of genre. I don't know if that has a genre name.
I've heard immersive sim thrown
Yeah,
around
I
a
saw
lot.
people using immersive sim, and I was like,
That's
"Is that
not-
really what that means?" Like,
It's not
that's-
how I would describe it, but that's
No,
how it
that's
seems
not
like
how
everyone
it's
else.
wrong.
That sounds like somebody that wants to justify playing Second Life.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know.
where you take that and then you take almost like a roguelite sort of experience where you start out with nothing and you lose everything at the end of a loop, and you slowly kind of build things up. And then just with overall kind of stylish adventure game that's sort of similar to I guess Prey or BioShock, where you have this kind of fantastical world and situation. I think they took something that could have just been like, oh yeah, it's another Dishonored game, whatever. I mean, you wouldn't say whatever; it would be enjoyable, but
Yeah.
but
They really
made it.
nailed the atmosphere
Yep.
and the setting.
I think the characters are really good as well.
Characters are super
Oh,
good. The voice
the-
actor for Cole.
The voice actor for Colt
Amazing.
is
So good.
great. Is
Just-
just like
The interplay between Colt and Juliana is definitely the highlight. They have such great chemistry. They're very
Yeah.
fun characters. She calls you
Yeah.
on the radio and is just like, "Hey, what's up, you piece of shit? Like, I just murdered you. How's that feel?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Stop being mean to me." It's very fun.
and
like-
the fact that he's like, yeah, I did this, and she's like, yeah, I know, and he's like, well, you don't know I'm gonna do this, and she's like, yeah, I know.
It's like,
And
I
he's like,
definitely
well,
do know.
Shit.
I think
Yeah.
the most irritating thing in that game, the difficulty is irritating, how easy it is, but even more irritating is how it handholds you to the solutions.
Yeah.
Yes.
It drives me insane. There was one time I killed one visionary I'd never seen before. First time I ever went to that location, killed her, and it was like, Holt was like, well, I guess this is the only time I'll ever see her, so I have to shoot her at this time
Oh yeah,
in that location. I'm like,
There he
I
is.
have no idea that's happening until he says that. I
yeah.
haven't in any way figured it out myself that that's the only place she is.
See, that's
So annoying.
So I was so hot to trot on this game for the first like 7 hours. Like I was like, this is game break. This is groundbreaking. These guys are fucking doing some crazy shit. This is amazing. Graphics are great. Voice acting is great. And this game design, this whole game concept is incredible. I love it. And then the hand holding started coming up. And I was like, no, fuck that. I want to get a cork board with some red yarn. And I want to start taking pictures and writing notes. And putting things up where it's like, oh yeah, in the afternoon in friggin', what's the name of the town?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know the
Updam?
names of them.
That's
Up-
something.
yeah.
It's one of them.
Updam.
Updam?
Updam. So like in the afternoon in Updam, I know that these guys are digging a hole. And when they're
What's
digging that
Updam?
hole,
Yeah, that's what I was
suddenly
thinking.
you can like get in there and that gives you access to like one visionary that, or one thing that if you do that in the evening throws something off that lets you just like do all this crazy shit. But instead the game just kind of does that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I actually
and-
like towards the beginning of my play, I was actually doing it manually without even really paying attention to the stuff in the tracker. Like the whole thread with the fireworks building that explodes.
Yeah.
I did that like naturally without following the quest line for it. And then it filled in like a bunch of spots in the tracker that was like, oh, it would have totally just told me like step by step how to do this if I didn't go figure it out myself.
Right.
But also
Weird.
I think that's like that sequence is one of the cool like parts of this game, like how you realize that stuff changes throughout the day. Like if you show up in that location later in the day, the building is all burned out and you can't get any information from it. So you realize, oh, I need to come back like in the morning and like change something and make sure that this place doesn't explode at some point in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And so you go do that puzzle, figure that out. And then you can come back later in the afternoon and you get like another piece to the puzzle on like stuff that's inside that building.
Is there
It's
no way
really interesting.
Is there no way to turn off this tracker mechanism you guys keep talking about?
Not really.
No.
It's just
No.
like your quest journal essentially.
You could
Man,
just
never look at
ignore it.
You could
Yeah.
ignore it, yeah.
There's still problems with that because it like pops up on the side of your screen when a new thing occurs.
Sure. I also
Yeah.
I
It's hard
don't
to not look at.
I don't
Why
think
would
the
they
game
not?
is
Note.
I don't think it's built well enough for you to actually thread it together. I think there are enough jumps where that
Okay.
would be a frustrating way to play.
so this
Yeah.
fireworks thing is like it's a sideline case where you're able to put it together, but
They're
in most
definitely-
cases there's like a jump between
You did-
logic.
if you really wanted to, I bet you could. But I think there are some, like that lady who only shows up one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
If
unless you're
they
going to
didn't spell it out.
exhaust every time,
Yeah.
you know, the best way to
Interesting.
know is to do it and have Cole go, oh, I guess she's only here now.
Yeah. It's man. I would like there to be some like information
That does
built
seem like
into
a
the game that tells you that. That's
And that
not
seems
like-
him telling
Like the
you.
way the game's structured, there's essentially like 4 maps that you can choose to go into, and there's 4 times of day that you can go into them.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
on each of those, they're like, this person is here at this time. Like you can go you can go try to kill them, you can try to get more information on them, etc. But you got to do it like right now, and this is the path to figuring out the next step in the process. And then once you like go there and explore the map during that time of day and go kill them and scour their office or whatever and find the note that it wants you to find, then it'll update your journal and be like, all right, cool. Now I know this piece of information, which will tell me that they're actually here now, but if I do this, they'll show up here later. Or
that one I can understand because that's in-game content that gives you information about what you're supposed to do. The thing about him talking seems like a lazy way to, like in my mind, I haven't played this game, but
Well,
in my
because
mind, I'm
he says
imagining
that,
you could
but then
sit.
you go look at your journal, and there's like it's basically like a web. Like these are the
Sure.
visionaries, and then it spreads out to like 8 separate lines. And there's these lines they get to follow to figure out how to kill these visionaries. And then that one specifically is like it has a check mark at the end of it. It's like, yep, this is the time that you kill her. This is it.
Yeah,
This is
see,
when
that's
you have
dumb.
to do it.
I could understand if, like, for instance, you were like hiding behind something or above something, and you overheard someone saying, "This visionary comes to this spot at the same time every day as a moment of reflection
Yeah.
or something."
Right,
But-
and that happens, but not
You
in
essentially
this
do that.
case.
It's just
Sometimes.
weird that it's chosen that the protagonist you're playing as is the person who communicates to you as the player that this
Yeah.
is the only time this would happen, which means Why would
Right.
you ever need to go there in the first place? Like you should just when you start the game, you should know immediately that person's going to be right there at that time.
He doesn't say it until you go find the piece of paper that says that she follows the security protocol very strictly. And
Okay,
then he makes the assumption based on that information that, okay, she's going to be very strict to the protocol. This is the only time I have access to her.
All right, that's a
I don't
little
think I
better.
even
but-
found that piece of paper. I just shot her, and he was like, "Oh, this is when I have to
Oh,
do
really?
it."
Is that
Yeah.
it? Hmm. So
As
maybe
soon as I
there's like
killed her,
some
he said
weird
it.
threads that can
like
come
additional
together.
threads.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just one example.
Sure.
The
Yeah.
most
Sure.
glaring one.
There's
Probably.
constantly cool stuff. Like, also, for some reason, the temperature drops throughout the day, which I don't really understand. I would think it would warm up.
The sun
towards the middle
goes
of the day.
down.
to the afternoon. Yeah.
I mean,
But,
maybe
like,
it's just like a storm comes through. I don't know.
if you go in the morning, like, there's not snow really places, and then like, go later and there's snow and the ice freezes up. But there's like little things like, oh, there's this group of Eternalists that are gonna loot this plane, but not until later in the afternoon when the ice freezes up and you can access it. And so, like, you can do that, and you get like a small reward for that.
I
Weird.
think the kind of structure of the mystery of this game plays a lot like Outer Wilds. If you played
Really?
that, I know like none of you really have.
Yeah, I still haven't played it.
The gameplay is nothing like it, right? There's no
Sure.
first-person shooter aspect, but the actual like uncovering the mystery, I think there's a lot of parallels, and that game does not handhold you anyway, and I think it is way better. For
Man, that actually sounds really cool.
See,
Wow! If only I told you about this game before.
the biggest thing for me is that as soon as I saw that the tracker and the journal kind of became that was the game aspect of it, I really kind of stopped paying attention to like text logs and notes
Sure.
and
Yeah,
things like
there's
that.
also that.
You know, I would skim through it, but I wasn't, you know, like friggin' mulling it over for details and hints and things to look into. But like that's also some of the best stuff in the game because the voice acting and the storytelling is really strong. It's just a shame, but you know, I'm just the kind of person who's lazy, so like I'm gonna take the easy way out, and if it just tells me what
Yeah,
it
I
needs
mean-
to do, I can't help myself.
If you're going to pick up a document and it's going to tell you the pertinent information immediately,
Why read the document?
Yeah.
When
Right,
you pick it up, it automatically gets added to, like, the piece that you need to know automatically gets added to your journal without you
And
actually reading
Yeah,
it.
without you reading it. Whereas like before,
Yeah.
like I think there's two of the visionaries that are lovers or secret lovers or whatever.
Mhm.
And I found that out on my own. I started piecing it together, and I was like, oh shit! Like these guys are meeting at this point together. That's a twofer. and then I that was like the high point in the game for me, and that's when I found the journal and how it was starting to lay everything out, and I was like, oh.
Mhm.
And then like the fact that the level design is so diverse and there's a million different ways to get into almost any place, but it doesn't matter because the combat is so easy
Yeah.
and there's no
Yeah.
then there's no repercussions. Like I feel like it's
You can
wasted.
just wait in.
Yeah.
Well, there's the one visionary that's in, like, the nuclear reactor place.
Yes. She's the most interesting one.
don't
Like-
spoil those.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's
Basically-
some stuff that,
There's one where it's very difficult to just shoot your way through.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I appreciated that a lot.
It's a good departure from the rest of them, it seems.
Yeah.
I still don't just go full ham and shoot my way through everything. I like to sneak through stuff.
I mean, I've started just. I turned off invasions.
Oh, really?
I really like the invasions, but it was literally there's 4 time periods a day, and I would get invaded 4 times.
Yeah.
a day.
Jeez.
You only get invaded if there's a visionary in your location you're going
Well, guess what?
Just a heads up.
I'm an important guy. I got things to do.
to.
I'm always going where the
Just,
visionaries
letting you
are.
know.
That is nice to know, but turning on the NPC is exactly the same because I can just blitz through it, and if she comes at me, I'll just end her.
Yeah.
So I also so since it's a time loop, you get 4 times in the day until you have to start the loop back over. I feel like the resource economy for infusing or essentially locking in time items, weapons, abilities
Yeah, adding
It
stuff to your stash for the
is
next
like
loop.
is like a fucking joke. Like I got
Oh, it's-
everything that I wanted to keep
It's so
in the
easy to get a
loop
ton.
that it came in, and
Yeah.
and I was like, no, I really want to have to think at the end of my loop, like, what's the one or two things
Yeah.
I want to keep?
Right.
I thought it
Because-
was going to be like a roguelike.
Yeah,
A little
because
bit.
because then it kind of gets into you get more familiar with the maps. You know,
Mhm.
oh, my
There's a
favorite
purple gun
weapon
over here.
is here. I like that gun. And while I'm doing this, I can go and grab that gun. You have to you start to also like getting the loot that you need and the equipment that you need starts to become a part of how you build your loot, how you run your
Exactly.
loot.
Yep.
Except for it doesn't
And-
matter.
Except
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, as soon as you get the thing, it's like, oh yeah, I got all my favorite guns, and now I'm good to go.
Yeah, I think loop 1, I got like 3 purple guns, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm done. I guess I'm
Yep.
done with the loot system now because I found my favorites.
Mhm.
I feel like what I want to do with this game, and I don't know if Arcane Studios, if their engine is compatible with this, but I would really like, because I feel like this is going to get kind of a big cult following or a big community following. I want somebody to go and make a mod of the game about like 2 years down the road, where they just go in and change that stuff. They remove the journal and they add in like a little system where they encourage you to like, hey, grab a notebook and start friggin' taking notes, nerd.
Yeah.
And let you like figure your way out through the game. I honestly I don't know if I'm gonna finish that game because now it has become so easy and like such the roadmap's right there. It's like the concept was great and then it was spoiled for me.
Yeah. I think the problem is like all these terrible things they're saying about it. I still like love this game. It's like so much fun.
It's very fun.
Very fun.
The powers are so good. I mean, I will say I have an issue with the power system in that one, you're not allowed to take off the extra lives thing.
Yeah.
That would give you an
Sure.
extra power slot, and the game is easy enough that you usually don't need it. Two, you basically always want blink.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's just
Yeah.
locked in. Like,
You always
why
want
would you
blink.
ever take blink off? So really, you just have one slot to experiment with, and then that is like pretty limiting, I think.
You know, I got really excited in one part where you go into the club and you have to put on the thing that makes it so you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
use your abilities, but you can immediately hack the door and take it back off and then walk back in.
Yep.
Because it looked like it was going to be like a fun, tense moment where, oh, I only have one life now. This is going to be
So-
difficult. And then, nope.
So that was one aspect of the game that I also think is interesting, where there's no saving, there's no quick saves, there's no
Right.
quick loads. So there is, in everything that you do, there is the possibility of consequence with repercussions. So like if you're looking at a window and you're like, oh, that looks like a real friggin' mint way to get into that building. But you're looking at it, you're like, I don't know if I can make that jump. You're looking at you're like, I think I could make it. Like that in any other game, that would be the moment where you hit F5, you do a little quick save, you try it out, it works, great. If it doesn't, you just hit F8 and you quick load back in, and then you look a different way. But I mean, there's stakes there that I think kind of adds to it. And I think
Yeah.
if you were able to take the life slot away, that would definitely put it. So here's where I think you make Deathloop from a really good game to a great game. You boost up the cost for the economy for being able to keep items between loops or abilities between loops. You very much cut down on the journal and just developer laid out roadmap to beat the game. And then like with that, then that also heightens the consequences of death.
Mm-hmm.
And then that brings it more to a roguelite kind of game that them shits is hot. People love them games. So I think with the story and the voice acting and the graphics, I mean, let's talk about the graphics for a second. That's like the best like 60s futuristic kind of look I've
Retro
ever
future.
seen. Yeah,
Really
the,
good.
the retro future in that game is hot. It's some good stuff. The question is, why are there faces all over the island? Do they ever get into why there's just giant polygonal faces?
I don't know.
Jake?
I don't know. I haven't finished it either, though.
Okay.
I think the loop system that now that you bring it up, the consequence of death and all that, and saving and not being able to save, that actually solves like a major issue I have with Dishonored.
Yeah.
In that, in Dishonored 1, there's a morality system, so you kind of have to decide at the beginning of the game, like, are you going to kill people, or are you trying to do this like a stealth run? And if you're doing a stealth run, which is kind of like the obvious path, then you save a bunch and you load a bunch, and you don't get a second chance at targets to make like the run good unless you're loading an old save. The loop system solves that completely. You get infinite amount of chances to try to do things the way you want to do it.
Yeah.
And also,
And you can try out different ones.
yeah, and on top of that, like, it encourages you to just go with the flow instead of like you're going for like you're doing for a specific type of assassination or something like that, and then you save scum until you get it. It's like, yeah, I'll go stealth into this building, but like, oh, somebody saw me and now there's 20 dudes here. I guess I'll murder all their faces with a machete.
Right. And whereas in like Dishonored, if suddenly you triggered the whole build and you'd be like, shit, and then you just quick load and try again. Whereas in Deathloop, it's like, nah, dude, you're in this situation now. Now you got to get out of it.
I know it. We bring it up all the time, but it almost reminds me of Life is Strange again, in that you can like repeat conversations in that game to try to do it the right way that you want.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. I hate to have us move on, but we are at an hour and 40 minutes, so we're going to move through these other topics because we still have other things to talk about. And we've been talking about Deathloop for about 25 minutes.
That's like half as long as we spent talking about MMOs.
True.
I don't even want to hear you right now.
A lot of things have been dragged out. Let's one quick note in games here. Gloomhaven release date was announced.
Yeah,
Caleb.
so Gloomhaven's coming out October 20th, the video game, coming out October 20th. It's been out in early access for a while. The Guildmaster mode, I think it was, where you can play, disconnected missions and stuff. But the full campaign will be out in co-op October 20th. So, if you haven't been able to get together at a table due to COVID or other reasons, play online with people. Sick.
Yep. It's a freaking sick game.
Freaking
Some would say the best board game ever made.
Quite possibly.
Some would say. Let's talk about a few news-related
Monopoly.
things.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, no! Unless it's Monopoly with the other rules.
Monopoly can literally shove itself up its
so
own
you're telling
ass.
me that if you use the alternative rule set from Monopoly, it's the greatest game? It's the greatest board game?
I'm not saying it's the greatest board
That's
game.
what
saying
I
it
said.
could
You
be.
heard it
I
here.
said-
literally just
I
said,
said
unless
could be.
it's Monopoly with the
Sorry,
other
what I
rules.
meant to say was Monopoly is trash unless you use the other rules. That's what I meant to say.
It's like anarchy chess.
Anarchy chess. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I know what
News-related
that is.
things. Couple things here. I don't even know. What is this? Nimtemdo
Direct.
Nimtemdo
There was a Nintendo
Direct.
Direct, like right before we started recording.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip most of the boring shit. They're putting Disco Elysium on Switch.
Nice.
It seems like a weird fit there, but fine.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Triangle Strategy's coming out next year. I don't think anyone here cares about it but me, but that's that new strategy game from the Octopath Traveler guys.
Oh, nice.
They're adding N64 games to the online thing for Switch.
Can I play Perfect Dark?
I'm gonna guess no.
I'm gonna
The
be
ones
the
I've written
next
down are
Perfect Dark
Zelda,
champion.
Mario, and Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh fuck it.
No
fuck
Smash. No GoldenEye.
Look, man, I guess
Did
not.
you say Banjo Kazooie?
I did. I was surprised to say it's not going to be in there initially, but they were like, here are other games we're going to try to do, and Banjo-Kazooie was in there, and I was like, oh shit, I thought that was like legally impossible, essentially.
it.
But, whatever. They had a whole section on Deltarune Chapter 2, which seemed weird to me. Yeah, to feature it in the Nintendo Direct, since it's also on every platform, I think.
Okay.
There was some anime card game,
Yes.
which I didn't care
Yu-Gi-Oh.
about, but it's by Yoko Taro, who's the guy who did Nier Automata.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe this won't be some anime bullshit. Maybe it'll be cool. I don't know.
That's exciting.
Let's get into heavy hitters, though. Splatoon 3. Everyone has been waiting for Splatoon 3.
Oh, I
Yeah,
have for sure.
Obviously.
But actually, the one people here might care about, Bayonetta 3 got
Yes.
announced.
Okay.
No, they announced Bayonetta 3 like years ago.
Did they? Well, it got a
Yes.
trailer with
Okay.
gameplay and stuff. It looks fucking
Gosh.
rad.
They announced it.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it'll come eventually.
Did they?
Does she-
I didn't even know they announced it.
Does she have gun shoes still?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, I'm in.
And then the last
2017
thing...
was when that was announced, by the way.
Oh my god, really?
Dang.
That's a pre-COVID
wild.
announcement.
Yeah.
That's
old.
basically like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The last thing they talked about that I thought was interesting, they talked about the Mario movie they're making.
No, what?
Yeah. So Illumination's
Okay.
making a Mario movie. And they announced some of the casting.
But Sonic did so well.
Tom Holland.
Mario is being played by Chris Pratt.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Ugh.
Weird choice.
Yeah.
Wait, can you repeat? Can you repeat that? I don't think I heard that right.
Yeah, Chris Pratt is Mario. You know, famous Italian actor Chris Pratt is Mario.
Literally,
Is this an
literally
animated
the
movie,
most
or?
friggin'
It's
like,
Illumination, so yeah,
It's
an
animated,
movie.
yeah.
Okay, so why aren't they just using the voice of Mario?
No, Alex, you sound so stupid right now.
Charles
It's
Martinet
Chris
is in
Pratt.
it.
Are you
Charles
accusing yourself,
Martinet
Alex?
is
Get
in
out of
it
here.
voicing other things.
Also, Charles Martinet. Whenever I see him in a video, he kind of freaks me out a little bit.
He is the happiest fucking dude.
He is really excited. Like he really, really wants you to listen to him do Mario, and I don't know.
Why?
I mean,
He makes
Is he
me
does.
feel a
not
little
playing
uncomfortable.
Mario? How pissed must he be that he is in a Mario movie not playing Mario?
Dude, whatever. The dude shows up for like a day, and he's like, "Wow!" and he gets paid like fucking like $200,000.
Yeah, he's probably doing all right.
Yeah, he's doing fine.
What else you got?
Like,
What are the casting?
Jack Black is Bowser.
No, like I said, I'll pass it off to my co-host Owen, and he'll take over from here.
I mean, go for it, man. That was the other big
you're
one.
in it now. Go,
All
keep
right,
going.
fine. We got Jack Black as Bowser. You got Anna
Is-
Taylor-Joy as Peach.
Is Dwayne the Rock Johnson in this bitch?
No. Who's DK?
honestly, he should
DK
be
was
with this cast.
interesting.
Seth Rogen, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought that was interesting.
Sounds like a Luigi.
Gonna smoke me some bananas.
that one guy from fucking Always Sunny is Luigi.
Charlie Day.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito?
Oh my
That's what I was
fucking god,
thinking.
I want that so bad
I
now.
would
Holy
watch that
shit.
for sure.
Sweaty way. I came in, I started blasting.
Danny DeVito as Wario, maybe.
Oh, that's
Oh.
perfect casting.
Fuck.
Holy shit.
That's good.
I think that's most of them.
Okay.
Who's playing Waluigi?
What a strange decision.
Yeah, I mean, we'll
Wait,
see.
who's-
Illumination has probably
Who-
made a good movie at some point.
Did I miss
Dude,
who's
what
playing
if they made-
Luigi?
Charlie Day.
Charlie Day. Yeah.
And Chris Pratt.
I think I have the perfect actor for Waluigi. Frank, you remember that skinny guy from Why the Last Man?
Oh yeah, that dude.
Wait, which one?
The guy that you were making comments about when we were watching Why the
Holy
Last Man.
shit! The dude that's literally like a number 2 Ticonderoga fucking pencil. Dude, straight vertical. He's got no width. It's all height.
Oh, Illuminations made Minions.
Yes, they're the Minions guys.
No.
They're also Universal because they were doing like the whole, Nintendo park in Universal.
Gotcha.
So they're
Wait,
like,
so whatever
working
happened to the
together.
Universal film universe, cinematic universe?
Oh, that
What's
guy-
going on?
well, they put Tom Hanks in it, and then they were like, this is a bad idea, and they trashed it.
Wait, Tom
Wow.
Hanks was in it?
The Monsterverse?
Oh yeah, Monsterverse was a thing.
Yeah. Because
Wait-
they put him in the Mummy, and they were like, "Oh, the Mummy did really fucking bad."
Tom
Yeah.
Hanks was in the Mummy?
Not Tom Hanks. I'm sorry,
Tom Cruise.
Tom
Oh,
Cruise.
I was like,
Tom
where the fuck was
Cruise.
Tom Hanks in
Oh
that
my
movie?
gosh. They made another Mummy movie, didn't they, with Tom Cruise?
Yeah,
We
I
don't
had
talk
blocked
about
that
it.
in my
That wasn't
memory.
good.
They made another one.
I had completely eliminated it from my mind.
There's
that's-
only what 3 Mummy movies, and
no,
all
wait.
of them have Brendan Fraser in it, and that's it.
Wait, hold on. No, wait. We're talking about The Mummy with Tom Cruise in it, right? They didn't make a sequel to The
No,
Mummy
no.
with Tom Cruise
The
in it.
No,
Mummy
Oh, thank God.
with Tom Cruise. I just
Jesus.
completely forgot this movie
Ah.
happened.
Isn't that just Mission Impossible with the mummy in it?
No.
No,
Man, terrible.
it's bad.
Like
It's
Russell
just
Crowe
bad.
was in it, and they had him like as like Dr. Jekyll,
Yep.
Mhm.
and they're like, "Oh, we gotta lock it down." I'm like, "Dude, he's just an alcoholic. Like, it's fine. Like, you just smash the keyboard over his head. It's like, yeah, no,
We
he got back
gotta-
up. Shit, I've been there."
Anything else from this Nintendo event?
That was the main ones.
I got
Gotcha.
one for you. The original KOTOR, not the remake,
Yeah.
is coming to Switch.
Oh,
I
in
was gonna
November.
say KOTOR is coming
weird.
to Switch.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not interested until they do a like massive graphical overhaul of KOTOR.
So when they do the
The remake?
remake,
Which will
They're
be the
doing a
remake. They're
remake.
doing a remake, yeah.
Okay, all right. So they're doing a remake. So counter proposal. How about you make a new fucking game that's like actually
Do
good?
KOTOR 3. People
Here's
were
the
clamoring
thing.
for it for
The-
forever.
the
That's
remakes,
stupid.
the remake is being done by not BioWare.
Look, BioWare's busy with Anthem. It's been so successful. They've got their hands full. They couldn't
Anthem
possibly
next,
make
dude.
another
It's
Star
gotta,
Wars
it's
game.
gotta feel, it's gotta be bad when someone else
Like-
shows up, takes your property, and just be like, "Hey, we're gonna remake this because we don't fucking trust you to do it again."
I mean, Obsidian is absolutely infamous for doing that.
Yeah, that was their bread and butter for a
Yeah.
while there.
Yeah, that was their thing. They were like, "Hey, you established something. That's great. Give me your engine. I'm gonna make it a little broken, but I'm also gonna make it really fucking cool."
Yeah.
And that was Obsidian's friggin' shtick for a long
And it
time.
was great.
That's true.
Yeah, it was great. But like
right.
in reality, don't mean to derail it. Sorry, Aaron.
No, you're good.
I'm an absolute friggin' totally
Yes.
blanked on the word I'm skipping over.
Oh my
Incredible.
god. So glad we
uh,
derailed for this.
So like I think the reason why we devoted an entire segment to Deathloop is because it's not a sequel, it's not an established franchise, it's not a remake, but it is a big budget title. And I think in today's day and age where you have these very behemoth developers like Blizzard, Activision, you might talk about Respawn, BioWare,
Microsoft.
you know, I guess Bungie, 343, you know, the guys that are in the gaming community, quote unquote, household names.
Ooh.
Like nobody's putting out anything that's really groundbreaking.
That's the
that-
thing, Frank. Nobody's
that-
putting out.
Nobody's putting out, dude. Nobody's putting out anything that's groundbreaking, that's creative. It's all built up off something that was done before, and I feel like Deathloop is really kind of something different.
Hmm.
So make me a KOTOR 3 that's fucking good.
All right, before we get out of news, Frank, you have 2 things in here.
Oh shit! I forgot I put these in here.
You want to make a quick note about these 2 things?
Yeah, I just thought it would be a funny concept seeing Elon Musk sitting up there talking about. He's just like, yeah, nobody can make games like me, you know. This game's gonna be about us going to Mars. And I also feel like if you take Elon Musk's vision, money, and absolute ruthlessness to run a company, this dude could put a pretty good video game out.
I mean, he does have the.
That's all.
But
That's enough.
it'd be exclusive to Tesla vehicles.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, he's
Or-
like play it on a new Tesla video game console.
I don't think
know.
you'd make a Tesla video game console. I think you'd be able to play it on the Tesla,
Mm-hmm.
or if you have his Tesla home battery solar charging station,
Yeah,
it just like comes with a connection to your TV, so you can play it with that as well.
Yeah.
Gosh.
only play it when the sun's out, baby.
That's right. Only when the sun's out, though. Only when the sun's out.
It's kind of like that game on Game Boy Advance. What was it called? Golden Sun. where depending whether or not you were inside or outside, and there was sun or dark,
Yeah.
the
I
world
know
of the game
this.
changed.
Yeah.
That was a neat concept.
That is cool.
It was kind of like the Pokemon Go of its age that actually made kids that play video games go outside. So yeah, that was the one thing. That was just a dumbass note that I wrote down. Second, so for those that don't know, I think back when we were doing, I don't know, as far as the Horizon goes, was the book club also associated with the Horizon?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
Expanding Horizons, you might call it.
Expand. That's
Some would
right.
say.
Expanding Horizons. So, one of the books that we read for that was a book called Legionnaire, which is part of a series of books called Galaxy's Edge. They recently just rebooted their quote unquote season 2 of books. I didn't know that books could come
What
in
does that
seasons.
mean?
Hold on.
Yeah. What?
So essentially what it was it was a series of 9 books. At the end of the 9th book, everything that had been building up kind of concluded. But everyone was like, we want more. And so these guys released a season 2. Because so they had tons of like side stories and side books, but all of them ended up tying into the main 9 books at the end. And so now these guys are starting fresh and going into season 2 with a whole new thing in mind, where they're like, okay, we're going to start talking about this and we're going to start talking about that. And I feel like the Galaxy's Edge series, as far as books go, I think the authors are really good at writing visually. They write through metaphor, which for me, I speak through metaphor a lot, so it very much suits like as a reader. Like I very much appreciate that. But also I feel like these guys are picking up the mantle that Star Wars totally dropped. I feel like these guys, because I mean the whole series is essentially Star Wars. If you bust it down to its brass tacks, like, you know, way in the future, whole galaxies like taking over. You have a planet that's just it's dedicated to doing this one thing, even though in reality that's never the case. And so I just wanted to kind of give it a little hard press, you know, little pull, little punch, little push.
Cool.
Speaking of Star Wars,
So you're just gonna beat it up. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
No,
speaking of Star Wars.
they already had the first 2 books, and I read both of them in a matter of a week.
Wow.
And they were great.
All right, check out this transition.
book.
Speaking of Star Wars,
What'd
what'd you guys think? Was it good? Did
That
I
was
nail
pretty
it?
solid. Yeah, I liked
Okay,
it.
all right.
Very
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't think it was too much.
Was it as good as Visions?
Has anyone else watched Visions other than me?
No spoilies.
No
no
spoilers.
spoilers.
Studio Trigger came to fucking play.
Excellent.
I mean, they always do, right?
Excellent.
I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah,
we're
what the
talking
fuck
about.
is Visions?
Okay.
It's like an. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so it's a anthology series that they did on Disney Plus, and it is Star Wars stories told by 8 different
Animation
studios.
Mhm.
And 7
Yeah.
studios with 9
Oh.
episodes, right?
So it's the Animatrix.
It's the
it's-
Animatrix, but for Star Wars.
Yeah, so there are all these different stories and things that are being told, and they're all like 15 to 20, 25-minute, episodes, and they're all different, and they're very interesting. All of them have different animation styles because they're all different from different studios.
Animatrix.
And it's it is blatantly not canon in all of the best of ways, and the stories are just exhilarating. It is
Is it not
fantastic.
canon?
Oh, they just
Really?
blatantly not canon.
Is it not
Kathleen
canon because
Kennedy
it
did
seems like it's
bless
not
that
canon,
shit.
or do they actually say it's not canon?
They've said this is not canon. ... right now, which
Okay,
means
what do you mean right
if-
now? I hate Disney with their
It's
Star
because
Wars
it's
canon stuff.
no, it's
It
because
means if
what
one
Disney's
of them
doing
does
is just
well
going.
enough, they're gonna be
We're
like,
not
yeah.
gonna do this as canon unless you really fucking like this story, and
Yeah.
then that one is canon, and we'll do an entire fucking like book on it or some shit.
Right.
Man,
So dumb.
Yes.
Yeah, but like it's It's very good Star Wars telling, and I highly suggest all of you to watch them because I know that a bunch of you are Star Wars fans. I know a bunch of you are anime fans, and seeing some of the anime powerhouses come up and just be like, yo, we're gonna take a stab at this, and I was like, oh no, this feels great. Like the Studio Trigger one feels like they just took Kill la Kill and put it in Star Wars, and I've never loved something so much. It is an amazing piece of media, and apparently they did 2 episodes, so I'm excited to see what the second one is.
See,
Yeah, Trigger did 2. There's one that's by the studio that made Made in Abyss.
Yep.
I don't know
Studio
whatever
Citrus,
studio did
right?
the first one, but it is art. Like it feels so Miyazaki that I'm just like, holy fuck, this is beautiful.
That's
And
probably
like,
the Made in Abyss people.
yeah, like I was sad that the entire story was so like beat by beat, you know exactly what's happening, but like because it's just been kind of like a tried and true like, oh no, we're villagers and bandits are coming to our camp and pillaging us, and we need very powerful people that have swords to save us. Oh please, Mr. Lightsaber Man. Like it's kind of like, okay, yeah, you've heard this like a million times, but they just do it so well that you're just like, this is still fucking cool.
That's awesome.
And like seeing the samurai like lightsaber katanas, I'm just like, I need these in my life so bad.
See, that's a really good transition into this series called Galaxy's Edge.
We're just going back. We're going back around.
I see what you're doing there.
Well, I think the greatest sort of strength of Star Wars is the fact that you can tell multiple different kinds of stories all in the same universe, because you kind of have an establishment there.
Mm-hmm.
Where I feel like where Disney is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that's just trying to make everything inclusive and all these things. I think this is quite bold for them. Whereas with Galaxy's Edge, you can do some pretty crazy shit with it. And there's actually been a lot of authors that have been quote unquote guest authors that have come in and made their own little series and everything like that.
Like the Animatrix.
Like the Animatrix.
I see.
Well, no, like there's this one author that's just been writing the story that is the sci-fi equivalent to the war in Vietnam, and all that stuff, and it's like really cool, and it ends up tying back into the book. It's great. Tin Man, look it up.
Tin Man.
Speaking of Disney.
Oh my gosh! Stop with that transition.
That's a
ridiculous.
great transition.
Here's what I was going to say about Disney. Derek and I were talking earlier. Shang-Chi was supposed to be released 45 days after it was in theaters. Disney has canceled on that. They're not doing it anymore.
What?
Now it is going to be released in mid-November for Disney Plus Day, which is the 2-year anniversary of Disney Plus's release.
Oh,
Disney
yeah.
Plus has
Disney
not
Plus
been out
has been
for
out
2
for
years.
Yeah,
2
that is my
years?
question. What?
Go the fuck home.
I'm like super
It
excited
is-
that all these major corporations have to have days named after themselves now. It's so fun.
It
I
is the
hate it.
second anniversary of Disney Plus, and it is called Disney Plus Day. They're going to release Shang-Chi, Jungle Cruise, Home Sweet Home Alone, which is the new Home Alone show, Olaf Presents, and Ciao Alberto.
Again, give me something new and unique.
They also are having some like special look towards the future for the MCU. I don't know what specifically that means, but I mean, that's what they have to do for all the MCU fans out there. They're just like, ooh, hey, we got a 30-second spot. It's going to be some really cool stills. Buckle up.
You're
My
just
mind
gonna
is
see a
blown.
giant blue 4 go onto the screen
Yeah.
and like a little musical score, and that'll be it.
Yeah,
I want
that's
to
it.
know who is on their PR team. That is just like, hey, we already gave ScarJo middle finger. Let's give her a double middle finger by
Yeah.
not releasing it on Disney Plus. Like, what?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, dude, because like the mass populace fucking like anything comes out for Star Wars, the MCU, anything like that. It could literally be a picture of a half-eaten fucking cheeseburger, and somebody could say it's something from the new Captain America movie, whatever.
It was eaten by Fat Thor.
People will be fucking jizzing by the buckets over that.
So
Or just by the shot glass that gets
Is
cleaned
this-
when it flips over into that
My
little
God.
is
finger.
this Disney
What
Plus
was in that
Day
glass?
I don't know if it was clear or not, but is it later than it would have come out?
Yeah, it is
I
don't
later
know.
than it was supposed to come out. Disney Plus Day is November 12th, which is like almost 30 days later than what Shang-Chi was supposed to be released.
Wow, so it's
I'm-
basically the 90-day
Beyonce.
timeline that they usually were going to do.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close to that. But I think it all comes from they realized,
stupid.
oh shoot,
Disney's
our
stupid.
movies are going to do great in the theaters. We should just, release them in the theaters.
Yeah.
Because Shang-Chi did really good at the box office for, post-COVID times.
Kind of
So
like
I
how
think-
WB's kicking themselves right now.
Yeah, and on top of this, I think it also leads to people think that this means that they're going to release the next Spider-Man before the end of the year instead of pushing it, which they were concerned. There were some talks about them pushing it until the next year because
the date has been quote unquote confirmed for December though.
Confirmed dates. Give me a break from Disney.
Confirmed dates
Yeah,
mean
that's-
nothing now.
Yeah, nothing anymore.
The
That's
video
true.
game pushback has infiltrated the movie scene, and it's just acceptable to move movie dates now. Since COVID.
Well, when you don't have a lot of, I guess like before you had theaters that you had to make sure would not leak stuff or get the physical stuff to them, of the movies, and now you can just be like, fuck it, we can get it to them later.
Yeah,
Or,
copy
oh,
paste
hey,
onto a server.
Yeah, don't put it on the server yet. We can delay
Like-
it longer.
Do that,
WB,
or like 2 months out from releasing your movie, suddenly something happens in the news that would make your movie look a little distasteful. You'd be like, "Hey, let's take that scene out. Let's reshoot that shit."
they took the Twin Towers out of the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
back in 2001.
Yeah. So let's transition over to those are all junk movies. We don't even need to talk about them. We need to talk about the best movie that anyone has watched in this group recently, which
Yeah.
is
Good God.
Space Jam: A New Legacy.
I watched
Alex.
Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Tell us how amazing this movie is.
What a
Wait.
what a
Did
terrible
it create
movie.
a new legacy?
What a terrible movie.
Wow.
Tell us what
I am honestly
you get
surprised.
you get so mad at Caleb and I because we do one specific thing when we watch movies, and you did it this time
Oh.
around.
Yeah, I get mad at you guys when you don't watch a movie in one sitting. You watch it in pieces.
Oh,
I
dude,
watched
I do
Space
that
Jam: A
too.
New Legacy in pieces because I couldn't handle it.
Because it was so bad.
Yes,
You didn't just turn it off. You were like, no,
No,
I'm gonna watch it
I-
in pieces.
was morbidly curious and I had to finish it. Has anybody else here seen it?
No, I'm not
No.
watching it
No.
after your
Sounds like
review.
we're not going to.
It sounds
Okay.
really good.
You don't have to watch it. It's really terrible. So I have a couple issues with the movie. One of them is LeBron's acting is god awful, and it seems like they just took whatever the first take was and just moved on every single scene.
Nice.
I got news for you, buddy. Michael Jordan's acting wasn't that great either.
Okay,
It's-
this significantly worse. Also, the word I wouldn't even be that mad about it because yeah, you're using an athlete in a movie. Of course, it's not going to be great. They have an entire scene where they sit there and they're trying to get LeBron into movies. He's like at WB headquarters talking to executives, and they're like trying to get him into movies. And then he says, "Hey, putting athletes in movies not a good idea. They can't act. You should use actors." In this movie where he's an athlete in a movie trying to act and he's doing poorly. I was so mad at that scene.
He's
so
just
mad.
self-aware. He's just
Yeah,
just
I
nodding
think-
that he's like.
I mean,
yeah,
they were
I'm
trying
bad.
to be like, hey, look how self-aware we are. And I was like, but you're still bad though.
Somebody
It's still bad.
Somebody on that writing board who was like 21 years old, but their hip was like, "That's so fucking meta."
But
And then all the other guys didn't know what the fuck that meant, so they were like, "Yeah, it's got to be good. Put it in."
Yeah.
the entire plot is like they go to WB, like LeBron has his son, and his son's like, I want to make video games. I don't want to play basketball. And LeBron's like, you got to play basketball and you got to work hard at it. And you got to be dedicated. You got to put 100% yourself into this thing or else you'll never make it anywhere. Because when he was a kid, that's basically what his coach told him. And then he became an extremely successful basketball player. So that's like his idea of how you live life. And his son's like,
Right.
I just want to make video games. And he wants to go to E3 camp and not basketball camp. And so like that's the main motivation of the plot, is that LeBron has to realize that his son needs to be his own person. And I think the moral of the story is like, they're trying to say the moral of the story is like, hey, you should be yourself and live, like you want to live and not like be forced to do things because people tell you to. You should live your own life. But in reality, they have this elaborate digital basketball game inside the serververse in which LeBron's team with the Looney Tunes gets absolutely demolished. Like, literally, they're 1,000 points behind at halftime because, one, it's not real basketball, it's fake video game basketball, and they make up the points, and it makes no sense whatsoever. It's just a plot device. And two, the resolution to this issue is we got to get more loony. Like, we got to stop being so serious and play basketball for fun. And then they make up 1,000 points and come back and win in the second half.
By having fun?
But my mind is blown because the moral they're trying to say is be yourself. But in reality, what they're showing is a person who dedicated their life to basketball and worked very hard to get where they are is actually dumb. He shouldn't do that. He just needs to goof off. So the message is like, just goof off. It doesn't matter.
The message is just fuck basketball. Basketball sucks dick.
That's a good message right there.
Can we also talk about the fact that, you know, I assume this is kind of branded as a kids movie? I mean, is it, none of these fucking kids know who the fuck Bugs Bunny is.
It's branded as a kids movie, and then that's got its own issues in that, like, Don Cheadle is the villain in this movie, and he, like, grooms a 12-year-old for 90 minutes, and it's very strange and awkward.
What the fuck does that mean?
Because he takes LeBron's son, and he's like, he just, like, gasses him up to, like, do the evil thing.
I thought you were talking like, no, he's like doing their hair for like
90 minutes.
Like,
90 minutes
and like just combing it. Just like combing it. I'm like,
wow, you're
dude,
right. That is uncomfortable.
The other
That
issue I have with this
fucked
movie
up.
is, like, part of it is, like, nostalgia bait, and there's a section in the movie where it's very obvious that they should bring up Michael's secret stuff from the first movie. And instead, they're like Daffy goes out and he's like, hey guys, I found Michael Jordan. This is like the halftime when they're down 1,000 points. And I'm like, yeah, Michael Jordan's going to make a cameo in this? And then he comes in and it's Michael B. Jordan.
Yep,
and it's like a funny joke. It's like a funny joke because his name's Michael Jordan, but not really.
Again,
Wow.
that's that 21-year-old dude sitting in the friggin' writing room who's like, that's so meta.
That's so meta.
And then they don't talk about Michael's secret stuff. They just talk about how you have to be loony, and then they win.
Oh my god.
And then my biggest issue with the movie, out of everything...
we're not there
We're
yet.
not-
we're
done
not my
yet.
biggest
I'm
issue.
sorry.
My biggest issue with the movie, out of everything in the movie, is that the entire story is set up to make you believe that
You can fly.
the WB. So there's this thing
Nice.
called the Serververse, and it's all of the properties that WB owns exist in this digital world, and they get sucked into the digital world to play the basketball game, right? Which
So does that mean there's the Matrix?
Yes, the Matrix is a world in there. Also, Granny does the Trinity float in the air kick in the middle of the basketball game. So the entire
Timely.
thing is like all this fantasy stuff exists inside the digital world. The real world is where LeBron comes from, and the original Space Jam movie exists as a thing that happened that WB put out in the serververse. And so in the original Space Jam movie, when some of the tunes and like the aliens or whatever come out to the real world and steal the powers of the basketball players, that's like not a real thing. That's like part of that story. Except at the end of this movie, so first of all, at the end of this movie,
No.
Bugs Bunny dies.
No.
They have a dramatic,
No.
elaborate death scene for Bugs Bunny in this children's film.
That ain't
That is
dude,
so
ain't-
bad.
That ain't even gonna mean shit to kids again. They don't know who the fuck
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny is.
And about 5 minutes later, when they're wrapping up the end of the film, Bugs Bunny comes back, but in the real world. He shows up to LeBron
No.
with no explanation whatsoever
No.
how that happened. The
No.
entire movie is set up that everything happens within the serververse because that is the fantasy realm where fantasy things can happen. And then at the very last 30 seconds of the movie, Bugs Bunny comes out into the real world. What are they trying to say? So I spent a while trying to
They're still in
figure out, like,
simulation?
yeah, well, I don't know. I tried looking up, like, what other people thought about this part of the movie. Some people have theories that, like, LeBron James is schizophrenic and he's, like, seeing things at the end of the movie because nobody else reacts to a cartoon character being on the sidewalk at the end of the movie. So maybe it's just something that he's seeing in his head, and LeBron James is actually, like, mentally
Losing
ill.
it.
What is the state of the internet that people feel like they have to put a video essay together on fucking
Yeah.
Space Jam: A New Legacy and start getting into like when you
It's
watch
because-
a movie when people are like, oh yeah, let's look at Avengers Endgame ending explained. So what do you mean?
Because it's people
explain
like me
the ending?
who are very bothered by why this decision was made, and they can't
No.
wrap their head around it, so they have to sit there and vent to other people on the internet.
Yeah, no, it's called
Which is what I'm doing
interpreting
right now.
art, son.
But are video games art?
Yes.
Wow.
Good point.
All right, let's talk about one last thing before we go, and that is the fact that Frank has opened a brand new Etsy shop.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks
And yet-
for
And
Somehow
also
you're
frozen.
also now frozen.
that's
As soon as
I-
you said Frank, he flashed and then he was stuck.
Yeah. You're unfrozen. You're good. Tell us about you're frozen
Oh.
again. Oh, you're
Oh.
unfrozen again. Tell
All
us
right.
about your Etsy shop.
Okay, so I opened up a new Etsy shop. So a little ways before COVID, I decided to pick up a new hobby, that being leatherworking. I finally hit the point where I feel like I can start making products that other people might want to enjoy. And no, before you ask, they are not sex related in any capacity. And you can find me on Etsy under Cheek Clapper 69.
Wait, hold
Oh
on.
my gosh.
You
Wait a
can't say what you just said and then say it's cheek clapper.
Yeah, that's
Why not?
Why
Why not?
It's called subverting expectations. It's meta, dude.
I hate
What?
this.
But I just wanted to showcase one of my latest pieces as an example of what you can find on my Etsy store. We have a little bit of armor here. Created this all by myself, all design. As you can see, the intricacies are vast and absolutely non-sexual in any capacity.
And where can
Alright,
we find
cheek
these,
clapper.
Frank?
You can find it on Etsy at Cheek Clapper 69.
Is it are
Incredible.
Are you
Are you
serious?
serious?
That's for you to determine.
I can't believe I'm about to go to fucking Etsy and put in cheek clapper. I don't want to hit enter. I
Oh god.
There's a t-shirt that says clappers of cheeks, and that's the only thing that Etsy has.
Yeah, no, that ain't it.
No
We've been
shit.
pranked.
I'm trying to
You've
help
been
you
franked.
out. Plug it, dude,
Man.
if you're gonna plug it.
wow.
Yeah, this is an awful advertisement.
I don't have an Etsy store, but if you do need any leather goods, hit me up on my web zone. Email me. I don't know.
What's your
This is our
email?
best segment.
Frank,
We should do this more.
69.com.
I don't know, man. Just reach out to somebody and be like, hey, can I get a wallet? And then it'll go through like 3 of you guys. Come back to me eventually in like 6
Yeah.
months. And I'll
Yeah,
be
dude.
like, no, I don't have time for
I
that.
don't. You're like, no, I don't do leatherworking anymore. Sorry.
Yeah. Post a comment on this web zone and we'll get you a wallet.
I'm on
sometime
Web
before you die.
Zone now.
Message us in Twitch chat.
Oh,
We're live.
I only accept cryptocurrency. Or I will accept payment with Pokemon Oreos. Because apparently those have value.
all the way back to the front.
Back
Damn.
And on that note, we are going
That's
to
called a
catch
reach
you.
around.
Oh my gosh!
wow.
Catch you next
End it
time.
now.
See
Hot
ya.
damn.
Bye.